So
Well, welcome back. Apologies, we were just chatting about some Fireball eggnog. If you're watching this around Christmas or even now, definitely recommend it. It is one of the few Fireball drinks that is well worth a purchase if you like eggnog and Fireball itself. But we're not here today to talk about eggnog, sadly. That is a discussion for a different day. Although, hey, who knows? The Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company may find a way to make eggnog and sell it. Who knows? But with that, as I stated, we return back again with the Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company Session 60, catching up to our other previous seasons and series. I think we are now in second place for the longest series with this one. So before we get into the quick little synopsis and what happened last time, I want to make a quick little announcement. It is not this next session, but the following session we will probably be taking a bit of a break after the end of May for those who watch back at home, as we will be kind of taking a second to pivot to the next section of the story, and the DM needs some time to write. Also, the DM is unemployed and cannot get a job in this fucking economy. So, a little bit of both work going on. So if you're watching at home and you are waiting for our content, that is why. But, with those quick little short little messages out of the way, we are ready to get to our show. Last time, we left off with the Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company. We came back to the end of the fight, post Howling or Shrieking Hag and post Deal, with the party basically managing to survive, gathering up their resources for the most part last session, putting themselves back together, and meeting with a few unique individuals that seem to have an invested interest into the party's allegiances. James, Syndra, and Rollman would find themselves bombarded with requests, not only while they were asleep, but seemingly while they were awake, running into Alfred Stone on their way back to the ship, and then later running into, through dreams, two of the major clans that were interested in the territories and the crown of the Snowbeards. With that, the party had met and made some decisions, figuring out a few minor things, and choosing who they wished to back, which, as they decided, they wanted to wait to meet with all the candidates long before anything else. Oh yeah, Rip, by the way, don't forget to mute. And as we stated, or as the party managed to get through the dreams, waking up the next morning, they would find themselves, only the three of them, seemingly poisoned, as their chef seemed to turn on them almost immediately, though thanks to quick thinking from Syndra and James, who were already poison immune, they didn't have to do very much for their save. Poor Rollman, though, did find himself with a bit of a hiccup and a nasty flavor in his mouth, though succeeding, I believe, the fortitude save from right.
Yeah.
Rollman? Yeah, okay, want to make sure. Because I have it in my notes that says you succeeded, but I was like, well, better ask. And as Rollman managed to succeed, the three party members, curious, expecting it to be honestly Melvin at this point, given how long he's been gone, looked over and saw the catfish's skin unzipping and a strange, shadowy figure within the skin of the body. With that, we cut to black because the DM really enjoys torturing poor James with cliffhangers of shit that he has to panic about. But we return back to a familiar face, Session 60, the year is 65,007, the month of the planting, or April, the 11th day. In the morning, the rain coming down heavy above, though thankfully you guys can't hear it because you are under a massive giant skull inside the city of Rune's Hold still. With us... Yes, Rune's Hold. Okay, I was like, wait, hold up, I got two notes of different towns here. With that, as you lot kind of look over, standing around the table, having stood up, leaving your dishes on the table as they were, looking over at the individual figure as the skin drops around them, you see a 6-foot-tall, dark, purplish-skinned, bright blue-eyed, and very heavily white-bearded individual with a bit of a shaved head, looking on at you. A beautiful, long, glimmering, scholarly robes and a few what looks to be rings dotting his fingers as he stands in front of you. Immediately, James and Roland, give me a knowledge history to see if you recognize who this is.
Oh.
Cinder, you can as well, but your DC is going to be a bit higher.
I don't even know if I have ranks in history. We're gonna find out.
This holds.
James is like shocked more than anything and just looking surprised someone was willing to poison Rollerman of anyone. Mentality.
Are you feeling okay? Why would they poison? Why didn't they poison me?
Oh, I only got a +4, but you never know if you nat 20.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Nice. Rollerman, actually, before we get to you, Rollerman, because you actually do recognize immediately who this is. James, not recognizing this and kind of being in shock to the situation, not expecting someone to have gotten onto your ship without any notice. As well as you look over and see the door to the food preservation room kind of slide open slightly, and you can see what looks to be the catfish completely bound inside. As you look over, Syndra, looking at this individual, they look to be almost elvish in appearance. Maybe a half-giant? It's hard to tell. But sadly, you've never met or seen a person like this before. You have no idea. Other than the fact that they look to be some sort of noble, which is the first thing that kind of catches your eye. Though no sigil or marking, the clothing on them looks to be quite valuable and very well made. As you see bits of metal, pieces of plate kind of put into or underneath this large cloak. Two large heavy pauldrons that seem to kind of stick out from underneath it, but don't seem to have much of a color to them. Almost strangely a white design to them. But this person doesn't stick out to you. Rollerman, as you think back for a moment, going through your head of all the enemies that James has made, it comes down like a slot machine as the things are flipping, and as the thing begins to pay out, you see the image of 3 pictures of Zell's face.
Oh.
You recognize this is Zell's. And
That's crazy.
If you've forgotten,
I got excited. You remind me again, but I think I got a good idea.
So Zell's was this dude. There's the picture.
Yeah.
He was the son of Zelm, is what he had told you. He was a harbinger at the time, so some sort of bard, and he kind of had an issue with James. Last you recall, James kind of sold him out. And he didn't really like James for the most part, and James didn't care for him much, as you recognize. He also was about 5 feet in height, not 6 foot plus.
He's been on a training arc.
As you kind of look him up and down, he kind of smiles at you and goes, "Well, I guess that did not work. Salve, Rollerman," as he kind of gives a light bow.
I just look at him. Zels, it's been a while. How you been? I will
Letting
start
it click
approaching
in my
him.
head.
As you start to take a step forward, you see a slight step backwards, even though there's a full counter of the kitchen between you and him. He looks like he's a little more nervous. As you say this out loud, James's light bulb kind of clicks on, and then James suddenly remembering the deal of selling this guy out to Greg way back when through Essa.
Hello, Zels. Glad to see you're doing well.
Salve, James! I am doing quite well. A little bit of a betrayal always tends to make you, more cunning and conniving. As he kind of, eyes Rollerman, who's still kind of advancing as he's slowly backing up.
That it can. And you can't say that you weren't planning to stab me in the back first.
Oh no, fair play in all regards. This wasn't a vengeance thing, this was a job, I hope you understand. I found myself...
You have 5 minutes. You have, I'd say, 6 seconds before Rollman kills you if you don't spill who.
Who hired me?
Hired you.
Oh, I have no loyalty to the man. Greg's Marathon.
Makes sense.
Cells continues backing away as Roman, still slight grin on his face, walking
you
slowly.
You understand that as a failed assassin, your life is forfeit, and therefore my property once again.
I do, but I also think you have more of an interest in how I'm still alive and how I got to where I am and the size I am. And I think that is worth more than my life.
Line of questions, but
walking around the counter.
Cinder starts to follow Roman around.
No, flank him. That's what.
No, yeah, the other way. We're flanking him.
He starts to kind of back up towards the hallway. There's no way out from here. I mean, this is a dead-end hallway with your guys' rooms on either side. And as he's starting to slowly move.
while that information's great and all, I can also just get it from your corpse without risking you lying to me.
That is not the case. He kind of nods at you and like stops and looks at Rollman and Syndra and goes, I can confirm I've been sworn to a contract not to give anything up if I am dead. And I cannot lie about this.
You see, speak with dead bypasses that.
What was that, Syndra?
Your body doesn't have to obey a contract your soul made when your soul's not part of the deal.
As James says that, Syndra, would you say as well?
As I start putting my hand on my sword, I'm like, oh, and your pants come off and I unsheath this. You'll be squealing like a pig. I'll know what I want to know.
Now wait a minute.
Oh,
hold up. He
when
kind of
I
like puts his
introduce
hands
my
up.
dear Aunt Syndra.
Salve, Syndra. Nice to meet a young lady like yourself. As his hands are kind of and he's
You
still
guys gotta
backing
keep the
away.
positives, you know.
If you'll allow me to explain before you decide to chop me into bits, I might have something more worthwhile than killing me.
I will ask these two their opinion. Should we give him the chance to talk, or be rid of a problem that just tried to harm all of us?
I did not poison your crew. I want to make that clear, and I did not harm a single member other than, as he kind of holds his hand out to Rollman and goes, nothing personal.
Mm-hmm. Can I sense
Failing
motive?
to do so
Yes, feel free.
isn't exactly not doing it.
I'm looking to see if this guy is just trying to weasel his way out through these words that like he'll just wants to live.
Yeah, see if he's just desperate to get out of this. He'll say anything to save his skin. Go ahead.
It tied up my favorite crew member.
Oh no, not the cook.
Yes, but I gave him a great feast beforehand and a drug to help him sleep.
You put him in a
22.
room that kills people.
Roman, it doesn't see, I mean, he definitely is saying anything to save his own skin, but it does seem he actually does mean that he has actual information of value. You get the sense he's pretty desperate to get out of the situation alive, and will pretty much sell out his own mother if he gets the chance.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in a room that could kill him.
You've got 10 words to convince me to let you speak more.
Kind of looks at holds out his hands in front of him and like closes his fist like he's getting ready to count the words, and goes, I didn't plan to kill, as he holds out his other hand, you. Can I buy a few more words with that?
I'm gonna attack him.
He is going to, just as a prelude, because he did ready his action for this, just in case. Give me a second.
Does the spell have a visual component?
I am pulling it up. Give me a minute. Alright. Let me pull. Yes, it is only visual.
Dispel magic.
As you begin to roll, that does beat the DC. As his spell kind of vanishes, and he looks at you with a bit of an eyebrow raise and goes,
Don't cast on my ship.
That was not a dangerous spell. That was for something to explain the whole situation. Kind of looking at Roman's plane in front of him as he stands still, holding himself up, his hands up.
Your words, not your spells.
I was going to transfer my memory to you, James, so you would understand what happened and could see the full thing. As he looks down, kind of swallowing hard, looking at Roman's blade. As Roman goes for the attack. Let's see.
We can resurrect him if we need to.
Roman, you just barely meet AC.
The full blade.
As you see his rings glitter, his armor kind of glitters with what looks to be a shield spell almost immediately coming over him. Seemingly the two spells stacking and increasing his armor class. Unfortunately, as the glowing armor is cut in half easily by Roman, go ahead and make your damage. Is that to hit or is that 29 damage to make sure? Oh, that's 29 damage. Okay.
Muted. That's 29 damage.
Gotcha. As you slash into him, you watch as his armor kind of cuts a little bit, and then a small, what looks to be doll of cloth falls out, looking almost identical to a elven-like figure, though doesn't look like anyone you know as you kind of look down at it, Roman, seeing a few brownish hairs kind of sticking out of it. Give me a fortitude save, Roman.
Okay.
This is to see if you take full or half, and then the will be just to see if you take any.
Okay.
So
17 for the fortitude.
that succeeds. You'll take half. Please roll will. This will just see if you take any damage at all. I know you can do reverse, but whatever.
I will not. Use my immediate action means 24.
24, you do succeed. So as you feel, you look down and see as your suit seems to be kind of cut in the same direction and depth as yours against
He's
him.
not wearing a shirt.
He used. Oh, that's right. Roman wasn't wearing a shirt. I forgot about that.
Yep, I'm shirtless.
Roman, as you look down, like where your chest hair, like like almost kind of fine body hair is, being an elf, kind of is. It seems to almost part perfectly where your blade has cut across Zelm. Seemingly at first you see it looks like it's about the skin feels like it's about to tear slightly, but almost immediately it seems to dissipate as you look over and see Zelm with a bit of shock and a little bit of blood going down his mouth as he looks over at you, wide-eyed.
Do I see like the little doll?
Now,
You do on
that's
the
your
ground.
warning.
No, I'm killing this man. What are you talking about?
As Roman turns back looking at
I
James,
got more twins.
Sells kind of holds his hand up and goes, I have something of value.
Zelm, was it?
Zel's, my father's Zelm.
Oh, Zel's your father's Zelm. You want to live.
Yes, very much so.
Are you a caster? Yes?
I practice the bardic arts.
Bardic. I could work with that. I find myself in need of a caster of sorts to work. You'd have to make an oath, but I could probably convince these two to let you live.
I think I'd be more of use in finding you a caster that would be fully loyal to you and would be better suited for you. I think my personal experiences may not be as valuable to you. I do apologize, Sindra.
You'd be making an oath regardless. I can't trust you.
He's a coward.
I will make an oath not to harm the Ironheart Merchant Company or anything such, but I don't feel it right to swear fealty to anyone at this time with my, as he looks down at Roman's blade, predicament.
I'm gonna look to Syndra, see if that's agreeable terms to her.
What's your information, Zels?
As Roman picks up the doll, Roman, give me another fortitude and will save, please.
Oh.
As you see
Am I
Roman
gonna
kind
grapple
of
myself? That's
lean
funny.
down and grab the doll off the ground.
If you're
16
gonna be able to make
42.
yourself fucking
Okay.
fly,
For the
this is
will?
gonna be hilarious.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Let's see.
20.
Roman, you have officially grappled yourself.
Let's go.
You cannot move, and you find yourself almost like something is crushing. Not hardly, because I imagine you're not holding this doll with like serious strength, but it feels like a hand is kind of grabbed around you in the same form as the doll itself.
What a strange thing.
But as James looks over at Syndra, kind of waiting to see what she'll say, Syndra.
I asked what his information was that he wanted to share.
If I can get, I swear that you won't kill me, any of you, I am happy to give the information, and it may have something to do with what's going on with that ambush, as well as that potential meeting that Greg's Tom is going to be kidnapping James for any day now. Valuable information that might see him a living. I'm just kind of puts his hands out down slightly, a little bit lowering them, goes, if it's not worth anything, well, at the very least, then you'll just kill me anyways afterwards, right?
Cameron, if I look at James, does he seem interested at all?
Well, the information on what Greg might be trying to do to me piques James' interest, and avoiding the ambush, we were already going to do that, essentially. But if this can allow us to go and stomp it out quickly, instead of avoiding it, might be worth it.
I don't even know if Zels is worth killing. He's just kind of around. If it wasn't Zels, it'd just be someone else. Zels?
We might be able to leverage this as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've been needing someone to spy on Greg's Marathon for me.
And I'd be willing to not kill you if you made your oath first, both to not cause us harm after this. Because if you do this again, it goes without saying you'll be dead. And that you'll find me that caster you promised.
Kind of looks down at the blade wound from Rollman and looks back over at you and goes, I think that's well within acceptable reasons. I don't think going after you is going to be the greatest for my long-term health.
Also,
I'm just gonna,
add into there that you won't tell anyone about how you tried to kill us, so that they don't know how we survived.
Only if that means I don't have to tell you how I got on this ship.
Oh no, that's something I need to know, because you bypassed a very important security measure.
Raises an eyebrow and goes, "There was a security measure? I just walked on the ship."
Is the alarm blaring from the captain's lantern?
As you look over at one of the lanterns kind of set in the mess hall, it seems to be glowing, but it's not glowing with warning. It just seems to be glowing like it normally does.
Then he's bypassed it somehow. Because
But
without the token,
he clearly does not know that. As you kind of look him up and down and get a sense for it.
I don't think he knows how he bypassed it. I don't think.
Oh, that's a bit odd.
Can I like gently take the thing that Robin using to grapple himself out of his hand after patting him on the side?
Come to Roland.
I'm experimenting. You guys.
Okay.
Are you gonna shake
You
yourself?
see Roland kind of
No.
like flying it in the air like an airplane as he doesn't move at all and kind of like grimaces slightly.
I will lessen my grip so like it's just like sitting in my hand. Does that do anything?
It does. You feel the grip on you almost completely dissipate, though you can still feel a strange presence almost around you.
Interesting.
Can use the fucking voodoo doll to fly.
I will say after he makes the oaths, make him empty his pockets.
Oh.
So it's kind of looks
I
at
can
you and
send
goes, "My pockets are kind of filled with some dangerous creatures. I can tell you what's in them. I can give you an itemized list. Might be a little difficult to pull certain things out, though.
Well, if you have any more of these dolls that appear to be in Roland's hands, those would need to be given up.
That's not mine."
If we don't get the items, there's option 2. You do what we've done before. We stripped the last guy naked.
While I appreciate your interest in my refined body, I'd prefer if you understood that certain situations call for caution first. I would ask that instead of emptying my pockets here, you look over the list and then understand if you wish to still do so. If you do, I will respectfully do so, but I hope you understand that it does come with a bit of danger. Not to count the drugs I've got on me.
After he mixes up, make the list, and then we'll look at it.
Roland like turns back to kind of giving the nod to James with that.
All right, make your oaths.
Kind of, you see as he takes a small dagger from his belt that's like a penknife and kind of pokes his thumb slightly and like begins to make what looks to be a magical spell in the air and begins to kind of like write out something. As you kind of see it, James looking it up and down. It's a very simple oath that basically states, I, Zels of the House of Zelm, will not, from here on or going forward or now, bother, attack, cause harm, or in any way be a difficulty to the Ironheart Merchant Company and all of its current and active employees. And then you see a little like second one go up and he puts up there, it says, I, Zels of House Zelm, swear on the behalf of my own house and my name, should it take my life if I fail, to provide a caster to exact specifications to the Lady Syndra.
Alright.
And as he does so, you see the contracts kind of dissipate in the air and then turn to solid papyrus as if written in blood. The ink itself kind of drying, and then the papyrus kind of circling up like a scroll, wax sealing itself with Zell's own house sigil mark, and then floating over to both one to James, the first one, and then the other one to Syndra.
I will stow it away. Do I recognize this as basically a custom spell of his?
This seems to be something you haven't seen this spell before off the top of your head. You can give me a knowledge arcana to see if this is a unique spell for him.
I was gonna ask if I could roll spellcraft to see if I could recognize it and use it.
Sure, I'll take a spellcraft for it.
27.
27. You do not know. You've never seen this spell outright before, but you do recognize that this is a 5th level spell that is basically called Oathborn. But simply put, it's a simple spell to guarantee either your life or something significant to you as an individual to an oath that you can sign without needing paper. You just have to, as an offering a bit of your blood to prove that it's you signing it and making this contract. Basically, though, it's once you make the contract, it's unbreakable. And this is a fully custom homebrew spell for reference, so.
Okay.
As far as if you can use it, this is Bardic, so just as a heads up.
I'd have to make a different version, but now that I've seen the base for it, it will become easier.
Yeah.
Let's get that itemized list first, and we'll talk after.
He nods and goes, I promise I won't cook either, as he kind of like starts to put his hands slowly down, still seeing Rollman's blade kind of pointed out where
Cinder, could you
Rollman's
go
looking.
Get the catfish out of the freezer, out of the room of preserving. If he's left in there much longer, he might die.
Yeah.
Cinder starts nosing, grabs the heavy
She's the
rope.
only one immune to cold.
Well, I will say, Cinder, as you go in, it's not freezing in there. It's perfectly room temperature. Everything else, though, is frozen. Like, all the items in there, the meats and stuff are solid. You can see ice kind of coming off of there. It's not chilly in here.
Yeah, because shockingly, it's not a cold spell, Cameron. It's just preservation.
Yeah. However, I do mention, as you look over the catfish, he does have a few icicles coming out of his nose and looks to be not in the greatest situation overall. He's definitely suffering from hypothermia after this.
I'm gonna be here for a few minutes lugging him out.
What's your drag capacity, out of curiosity? I think you can carry or drag him out for his weight, but he's about 1,000 pounds roughly, so.
Let's see. It's not 1,000 pounds. I'll tell you that much.
All right, so give me a strength check then. We're gonna see if you can magically pull this off, or how long this will take you.
Currently 700. It's gonna be a little bit.
Yep. So let's see if you can roll well, or if this is gonna be just like a teenage boy trying to grab something that's way too heavy for them and like yanking small bits of it as you go.
19.
19. It's definitely with Cinder. It's not easy to pull this. I mean, he is all weight, and as you realize quite quickly, it's not fat. This dude is a lot of muscle, which makes him dense as shit. As you're dragging him, you're kind of crouched down back towards the door and like kind of pulling almost in a rowing like motion, trying to get the jerking faction to move him at all. It's going to take you a few minutes to get him out though.
That's fine, as long as there's progress being made.
Yeah. As you start working on it, James and Rollman, as you're standing there, Rollman still blade kind of one blade in front of him, still pointed at the guy. The other holding the doll in his hand. Zell's kind of looks over at the two of you and goes, "So, can I sit down and write the list, or do I need to stand here with a blade at my throat while I write it?"
Stand there.
Stand there, but Rollman, you shouldn't need the blade at his neck any further. His
There's
oath
nothing in the
is
oath that says he can't run, so.
You are right, but if I was to run, I'd have to get past you, and I'm pretty sure it's between the two of us athletically. One of us is not winning that contest by any means.
That's true, but me lowering the
And
sword
James
makes it
is
easier for
standing
you.
in the doorway.
As Zels looks up, Rollman up and down, sees like an 8-pack fucking chiseled Apollo god, and you
Shredded.
look over, Zels looks down at himself, his little beer belly sticking out, the lack of any muscle on his body, and he looks at you.
I will stand here and I will keep my sword raised.
Okay. He begins to kind of pull something slowly out of a little bag of holding from behind him, and like what looks to be a notebook of sorts, and starts flipping to a page. Snapping his finger, he casts something minor, like some sort of cantrip, as you see a quill kind of appear in his hand, and he starts writing with it. It's going to take him a good few minutes, as you can kind of see. This is going to be a long
By the time he
list.
has this list done, the catfish will be out of the freezer.
That's true. But as you kind of watch, as the crew kind of watching this whole situation from the distance, kind of still at their tables, some of them at their bunks.
I will give the order of assume defensive measures. Could be more assassins.
The men immediately start getting up and getting to it and start moving out almost as Glitter Rock starts shouting orders to the men, pointing where to go, and they start springing into action. Zels kind of lightly jumps at the sudden change in movement as he looks up and a bit worried and concerned.
You're fine.
Last
Continue
time I
running.
lost a crew, I made sure that Rollman has this one well taken care of.
I can see that. Continues writing and goes, I hope you understand, though, it's going to take me a minute of writing. Like, there's a lot in here.
I can imagine.
And looks at you.
You can take your time.
Look over, seeing
Something from like
looking
the
inside, you can
pumping.
see Cinder like jerking the body slowly, pulling it back like a dog playing tug of war.
As I will be casting a level 0 spell as well.
Ooh, what are you casting?
I'm casting the cantrip Detect Magic and looking at Zell's to
Uh,
see
he-
what effect is allowing him to bypass
Mhm.
the captain's alarm.
Okay.
Captain's ledger.
As you look him, as you use your detect magic for it, with that in specification, there isn't a single item on him that seems to give him any reason that the lantern shouldn't have picked him up.
So I know he's not wearing. He doesn't have one of our coins.
Correct. You do not sense the coin. You don't sense one of the daggers. Nothing.
I'll turn towards the lantern and look and see if it's been disabled.
Give me a spellcraft check. Or a craft. I think a craft. It's a lantern, so it's metal, so metallurgy, we'll call it.
I'll give you spellcraft.
I'll
That's
take
gonna
that.
be higher than that for right now. Actually, craft. Would craft metalwork be viable?
Sure, I'll take that.
Okay, craft metalwork will be higher. 28.
Okay. As you kind of look it up and down, walking over to it and inspecting it, there's not been a single bit of tampering. The metal looks perfectly fine. The candle's still kind of glimmering inside of it. It looks like it's the same as it always has been. There should be no reason it shouldn't be going off.
So no physical tampering. There might have been magical tampering, but I'll check that in a minute. As I'll go back to Zell's.
As he kind of continues writing his list, you see as Cinder kind of finally pulls the feet outside of the door. As you look in and see the large catfish body, you can see what looks to be a bit of a slime mark of the catfish's drool, kind of where he's been dragged from the center of the room all the way to this point.
That's gonna freeze nastily.
As Cinder kind of gives a few last couple of good yanks to pull him out, almost as she does, the magical effect knocking him out seems to immediately dissipate, and he kind of looks up, kind of rolls over onto his stomach, still hands bound underneath him, his legs bound to where Cinder is kind of pulling and dragging. Looks over at you as he sits himself up, kind of stands up with still bound, and kind of looks about between the four of you, and goes, "In Aquin, what's going on?"
This is why I left it to Syndrome.
You got drugged, tied up, and put in the freezer.
Looks over at Rollman, who's like shirtless, and then looks back at Syndra and goes, and just kind of gives a deep kind of a nod of approval as he grunts and seems to begin to pull his arms apart. As you see the rope starting to fray, and he seems to snap them, and then looks down at his legs and begins to pull his legs apart, and you see as they snap almost immediately as well, and just kind of nods and walks over to Rollman, patting him lightly in Aquin, going, "You were a sweet lay," and walks over to the kitchen.
What did he say?
As Rollman looks over at Syndra with completely confusion.
Are you sure you wanted what he said?
Syndra looks a little bit
if it's
horrified.
nothing vital, I mean, it's
I'll
not
tell
like
you
I need to know.
important. It's not vital. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Syndra gives like a pat on your
I
back
need to give
leg.
him like some hazard pay for this.
You watch as the catfish goes almost immediately to the kitchen, begins like cutting up things, throwing out chunks of what looks to be meat that seems to have been used from the morning food, as he seems to take a sniff at and basically stick his tongue out and start shoving it into a trash burner.
I just imagine that he's picking up the poisons too and going, "God fucking damn it, who fucked with my ingredients?"
It's hard to tell as you look him up and down, James. He's got a flat face. Like he is a man
He
built.
has a true merchant's face. You can't read him.
A man built for poker, if you will. You're 100% sure. As
When I'm teaching him poker.
As Zels kind of finishes up writing the last of his list and kind of begins to turn it towards Rollman and like kind of offering it to Rollman, saying with the doll
I
one
get
hand.
Syndra to go grab it. Syndra's the person that gets handles paper.
Rollman kind of gives a side eye to Syndra.
We've had a few too many times of people using letters
First
and whatnot to kill us.
First, I have to drag 1,000 pounds to walk over the letter. All right.
Syndra kind of so breathing heavily from the exertion. Mario taking the book kind of aggressively, I imagine.
I
As you,
can do all the menial labor.
you kind of grumbled.
You wanna hold him at the sword point?
I'm just saying, he, the point at James, made me drag the body when a bunch of the crew members are physically stronger than me.
As Cinder points over to where you see one of the Frost Giant crewmen, what looks to be working out on his break, where there's looks to be not a weight set, but like a almost a bench press setup for some of the crew that has been kind of cobbled together to use, and there's plates upon plates. Like, Rollman, it's impressive for what they're doing.
I crafted some of those.
Is his
for
technique
them.
good? Hold on, is his
Yes,
technique good?
almost perfect.
good.
Although he is slow with it, as you kind of watch, he's the guy struggling, but he's going with it as you look back and then go back to
He got a spotter?
details. He does not.
Cedric, go spot them. No.
Yeah, I will shoot you immediately.
Roman kind of looks over at Cinder after seeing this, and there's a look in Cinder's eyes as Roman sees the uncommunicated hatred at the god.
When he finishes the rep, I'll say, hey, don't go too heavy without a spotter.
Yeah, puts it up, and you hear a yes sir kind of come from the guy as he like racks it and starts going back to lowering the weight. As you take the list though, Cinder, and looking it down and over, there's almost 400 items listed here. They range from what looks to be mundane metals and coin to all the way up to around +3 to +4 weapons and armor, as well as potions, poisons, drugs. This dude has basically the dream of an assassin's bag in whatever he's holding it in. There are beasts in there that are listed. There's hell wasps. There are creatures you've never even heard of that he's got apparently caged in his pockets. And then the last thing on the list reads Unknown God Capsule.
What the hell is that?
And he seems to have that kind of circled for you. Go ahead.
I stare at the list, very bottom of the list, right, and I slowly look at him, very intrigued.
Syndrome, since I'm assuming the list is safe and he didn't try and carve a spell into it, might I see it?
First, I'm gonna ask this out loud. What's a god capsule? What's a god capsule?
Are you asking this to Zells?
Yes.
Kind of looks at you and goes, so, I was minding my own business, as I normally am. He kind of looks at Rollman up and down for a minute. Goes, and I found myself in a situation with some elves that didn't particularly care for my honest and kind business dealings the day prior. They kind of may have chased me into a hole that I fell into, and didn't have much of a choice but to keep going deeper as they started building a fire to smoke me out, and I think I found one of those tomb things that I've been hearing about. It had a strange golden centerpiece with this weird-looking katana-like blade. I didn't open it. I was afraid to, and it was tied shut. So I assumed it was something dangerous. The inscription below read in some language that I was barely able to get translated. The one who rests here is the one who will end all sin, I believe is what it said, but I'm not sure if that's the right translation.
Oh.
I assumed that there was something stuck in it, and when I decided to take it out, when I left the tomb, not pull the blade out, of course, I kept it in the sheath, the blackened wood sheath, upon entering into my hands, scared the living hell out of 3 clans of elves, and I've never seen that happen before. They went running and said something in Elvish I didn't catch.
He's the chosen one.
Oh, no, nothing
Yes,
like that.
That's what will happen when you mess with objects from the Clouded Age.
So that's the unique part. That item is not from the Clouded Age. It's older. I'm not sure how old, but I had it appraised and had it confirmed that no demon has ever touched this directly.
That's even more horrifying, given how
You-
prevalent demons were.
You did not find an item from the unknown age where everything was a god. You did not.
That might explain why there was a bunch of rhino people chasing me around the city for about a month. Something about angering their ancient rites, and I don't know. I couldn't catch most of it. I just tried to escape as quick as I could.
When he spoke of like the elves and
Yes.
I'm gonna look over
Go.
the list. How many of these creatures and things do I recognize with me being a merchant with?
Give me a profession mercantile, and what were you saying, Roland?
I'm gonna ask him. Could he describe how the elves looked like?
Oh, yes. Some were blonde and blue-eyed. Some were brown-haired and brown-eyed. Some were tan. Some were dark purple with white hair. There's a lot of mixture group there. They were very angry and led by a woman that was a bit older, dark-skinned, had a very big attitude problem, threatened to eat me.
39.
He nods at that and goes, yeah, but she had some very specific interests in how she was going to prepare me. As he kind of looks at you and goes, beyond that, I didn't catch any names, banners, they didn't seem to have any, and there weren't any sigils amongst the savages, so I assumed that they were just a mixed bunch of clan members that were personally just hated me. To be fair, I may have sold them some fire water and claimed it was poison.
Does any of those descriptions ring a bell?
For the elves, for the clans?
Yeah.
Give me a knowledge history real quick.
Okay.
And I see your thing, James. Don't worry, we're going to get that in a sec.
No problem.
11. As you kind of think about it for a second, the woman sounds very much like it could either be your mother or your aunt, given the description being dark-skinned and dark hair, and a chieftain.
Mm-hmm.
Could be either. I mean, that's for a normal person, that'd be pretty hard to tell the difference between the two. The rest of the clans kind of catch your attention as you hear about them. You're not familiar with names because the elves don't really use names particularly for clan-specific stuff. Like they don't carry sigils because they don't look at themselves like that. They look at they treat themselves as families and kind of racially decide who's who. But the fact that all these different these groups are coming together is not normal. Elves don't like each other when they're of different races. So this is very unique.
How apparently did you piss them off with that? Because elves don't gather like that usually.
So the fire water was said to be for a poisoning on a group of goblins that were coming to raid the territory. Some criminals, I assumed, and may have led to a couple 20, 30 elves dying or being sold into slavery. Now, in my defense, I had no idea that that's what they were using it for. I thought they were using the poison to go after Greg's Marathon. It was doing my due justice as a merchant working in his employment. As James, as you kind of look down the list, you do recognize the Hell Wasps. There is around roughly 500 pounds of calorium that he has in each different color. He also has a listing of white calorium, which catches your attention almost immediately because you've never seen white calorium be on the open market before.
Oh, this man's about to pay this entire thing, essentially, for his life.
He has around 200,000 gold pieces amongst him, and roughly around 60 or so caged beasts that are of varying range between CR 1 to 10, roughly. Including what looks to be a few wyverns, something called an egu, and a few other things.
Egu? No!
Do not let him out. Do not let him out.
Leave him. Let him die.
Let him die.
You must be put down.
That man needs to be put down. No.
Okay.
But beyond that, there's nothing else that kind of catches your attention on the list. I mean, what I will say, the last thing, because I do have this listed, it does show as having an individual named Miyamoto's hand.
That means
That was the name of the that was the name of the rat that you guys found out Alfred kind of painted the walls with.
Oh.
Yeah, Miyamoto. His name was Miyamoto, and was you guys were told was the brother of Ultimus Miyamoto, the right hand of Neff, of Mercenaries.
Yeah, but he was obliterated and turned into a literal meat paste.
Rollman literally described that there was nothing but the weapons left of him.
All right. Next question. Where'd you get this thing? And I will gesture to the
voodoo doll
in my hand.
And looks at you and goes, there was a vendor in the City of Diamond's Death that offered these strange dolls that looked like each of you. They were very expensive. Well, not you, my lady Syndra, but kind of gestures to James and Rollman and goes, as well as your friend Essa, for the longest time. They were offering one of each. They looked like you. They had strange hairs that looked like yours. Rollman's was around only 10,000 gold pieces, so I figured a little bit of insurance in case he decides to skewer me. As he looks down at his cut across his chest and goes, I think I was right to buy this, to be honest. If it only had worked a little bit better.
I'll have to dispel the magic off of that. That's not great.
No, for now, don't do it. Save your
It's his new toy.
my new toy.
So, if you're looking for what the vendor looked like or what she was, it was an old lady, a little bit larger, green skin, crooked nose. Was eating a green apple when I ran into her.
Does this sound like Granny Apple?
No, yes and no. This seems to be
witch.
very that could be just as much as a normal green hag, or it could be just someone who's green skinned. Granny Apple was huge, like massive when you saw her, and she also had that wooden
able to
spoon.
shift her size.
She was, but she also had a massive wooden spoon, and would have been high caster level.
More likely, that was any member, because she has, from what we know, the most members of her coven. That could have been any number of her daughters.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be another problem to work out later. Roman, it seems you have more questions. Go ahead.
No.
Oh?
Not at the moment.
Giles kind of looks at Rollman, looks back at James, and goes, so does that mean you're going to lower your blade, and I'm going to have to stop worrying about you accidentally tripping and stabbing me through? Kind of eyeing Rollman's blade as he looks up at him.
I don't know. What are we taking from his inventory out of that list?
Everything but ego.
You want the weird thing? The god capsule? Whatever the fuck?
Everything but ego.
I don't
I don't know about that one.
As I walk over to James, I don't think you want the god capsule.
Fine, he can keep the god capsule as well.
Want to... thank you. I was going to say, I will mention, that's not mine by technicality. I'm delivering it somewhere at this point. Are you familiar with Regan Utham?
Yes.
I am.
I had heard he collects valuable and rare items to research and investigate. Pays top dollar for them. I have a vendor in Velcomen that I plan to kind of pawn this off. If it'll let me get out of here with the caged beast, I'll give you 50% of whatever I make off the sword.
That sounds fair. What do you
That's a
think,
deal.
James?
I'm fine to part with my metal and my coins, but the sword will literally make my business run going forward, and that'll give me less of a reason to take these ill-gotten missions, obviously. He looks down at Rollman's blade still.
I can accept that, although a few of your monsters here do interest me.
I'm happy to let you investigate and research them, but I'd ask that you let me keep them, as most of them, again, aren't technically mine. They are deals and deliveries I'm offering as a service on the side. Coming after you lot was just kind of an on-the-way thing.
I will warn you that the one listed here is Iguigu. I'm going to ask you, and you will answer truthfully. Is that a wyvernkin?
Yes, he's from Dragon's Crown. He was wanted for trying to poison the Dragon King himself.
He's wanted for a lot more.
Ambitious.
He's wanted for a lot more than that. He caused regular explosions. A very dangerous alchemist. Watch yourself on that as a little reward for being truthful thus far.
I appreciate the advice. I did learn that already the unfortunate way. That's why I kind of like gestures to his new height and boldness and goes, why I look like this.
James lifts his helmet off, showing he's bald too. Fire salamanders.
He nods and goes, Ego threw a potion at me, and I don't know what it did, but I grew, almost fell unconscious from the pain as my bones expanded, my body expanded in the worst way, and then my hair fell out, which I almost killed him for, because I've been growing those luscious locks since I was a young man.
Oh, believe me, I understand the pain of losing hair.
No,
Let me
it's
ask you
not.
to sacrifice all the materials and coin as payment for your life, and tell me why. As I'll close the list up, would Greg send you after his top earner? Oh yes, but Zell's here is very creative and wouldn't take a job without listening to a why, especially from Greg.
Sells gives a grimace and goes, it's not wrong. I do know why Greg's Tom wants you dead, but certain parts, I hope you understand, I have been forced into a oath that I can't speak on, and I only tell you this as a truthful answer. So I cannot give direct information, but I would say that Greg's Tom wouldn't be a greedy type and see you as a potential competition to his nation, as well as a concerning problem with his new global trading alliance as a difficulty in his path, as there's totally not rumors that you have gained such good relations with Regan Utham, the Snowbeards, and a few other territories that you've set up your own mobile nation. And Greg's Martom would not be angry enough to consider that a challenge to his right to rule and look to kill you at the same time with someone so low as ranking as myself, which wouldn't show how little he lacks or actually thinks of you at all. As he kind of gives a very roundabout answer.
James understanding his answer. Of course he wouldn't. I'm one of his top earners. It would be detrimental to him for people to realize that he's willing to kill off his own.
And he wouldn't be watching or scrying on me currently if I was speaking of such a dangerous thing, as the Ironheart Merchant Company has, of course, sworn their loyalty and will always be loyal to the great Greg's Marathon, as he kind of gives a little bit of a light wink towards Rolleman.
I don't wink back.
Blade's still up,
this
yep.
ambush that is planned in Himkin's territory.
Well, that's the first part you're mistaken on. It's not Himkin's territory. The individuals are tracking you, individually. I don't know how, if you're wondering. I know that they were sent off before I was, by the same individual that hired me, and that these individuals are more capable than average. Amongst their ranks stands 3 very powerful knights that used to serve an individual who ran a nation that no longer exists. And they are about as loyal as dogs can be. Unable to be reasoned with, they will not change their views or perspective and will hunt you to the ends of the world. My unfortunate fear for you is that the only way to get rid of this ambush that's coming for you, which is a small army of what looks to be a mix of kobolds, trolls, and frost giants, would be to kill the individual that Greg's Marathon would never, ever, and you see as he's about to say something, you hear the word, or you hear the vowel for O come out of his mouth, and then immediately his eyes roll back and blood starts pouring out of his nose, his mouth, his ears, and his eyes as his body collapses.
Is he dead?
As you look down at him, looking at him, James, seeing the full blood coming out.
I'm dying.
He looks like he's either dead or dying. That's a lot of blood as you count.
Garcia, potentially.
Roman turns to you with panic as James walks forward with a sigh.
And I will heal him for my spell slot. So this will be 8 plus 9. God, the one time good on a heal.
You watch as you kind of heal him, and almost immediately as his color seems to come back, it starts to fade just as quickly. His body is degrading quickly.
He broke an oath, James. He's going to die. He's... However, I know what he was going to say.
Well, that's great. We'll wait for him to die first so that,
take a shit before he dies, because I don't know if he gets, reclaimed.
That is true. Grab his shit. Get it off him.
I will strip him down.
As you begin to kind of turn the body over and start stripping him down about, give me, let's say, a dexterity check.
I will
see how
assist.
quickly. Alright.
Can I just help Rolleman instead? Because he's better at dex than me.
I mean, that's up to... That's up to Roman, sure.
So just straight dex check?
Correct.
Or sleight of hand?
Nope, just dex check. This is just to see how quick you're able to get through
Take
the
an extra 4.
body.
Take an extra 3, not 4.
Mhm.
3, yeah.
Oh, you said an extra 3?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nat 20.
Nice! As you start to kind of strip him about, taking his cloak off, it is heavy, Rollman, as you feel the 200 pounds worth of silk and metal, kind of pulling it off of him and setting it off to the side. It collapses onto the ground quite heavily. Pulling the rings off as you do, recognizing a few rings similar to your own. These are rings of storing. They do, as you recognize, rings of armament, I think is what they're technically called.
Yeah, rings of arming.
Yeah, arming, that's it, yeah. As you kind of recognize that, pulling them off, seeing about 4 of these on each of his fingers, and for a total of 8.
Holy shit.
Yep. taking his boots off as you do, though they aren't magical, and seeing his feet kind of destroyed as they are. You strip him down to nothing but his kind of tied-on cloth that covers him, his private parts, basically keeping him decent. As you look him up and down, lightly patting the sides of that just to see if there's anything hidden in there real quick, and thankfully nothing being found. He does not have a bag of holding though now on him, which is strange. As you flip his body over and look, it's no
he was
longer
talking
there.
about pockets, so
It was.
I
As
assume
you look in his kind of silk robes with a full heavy plate inside, kind of looking about, there aren't any pockets that you can see.
I use my scout headband to activate True Sight. I look for pockets.
Let me double check for True Sight for something. Ba-ba-ba.
Look, we can identify the cloak after if you don't see anything. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I just want to make sure it's not on his person still, somehow, and that when he dies, it'll be gone forever, and we don't get any of the shit.
Oh, it's most likely it was already fucking stolen if we don't find it.
Okay, so since this is going to be right in front of your face, Roland, you do see that there are pockets inside of it that kind of catch your glance as you do. What catches your attention most is that as you pull away slightly, the pockets disappear, making you realize these pockets are set in the ethereal plane.
Oh, that's wicked. Okay.
James
But
has a
it's
new
attached to the
cloak.
item, correct?
Huh?
It's attached to the item, not like
Yes.
this person in some way. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, it's
Okay.
fully the full plate like silk robes that you're looking up and down.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. I just give a nod to both of them. He's clean now. We've got
Well,
it.
Zels,
I
I
will-
apologize for your death as he
I
lay
will-
there dying.
Just a test. I will reach into the pocket and pull out what was on one of the itemized list. That's probably like really simple.
Yeah, a bunch
Pull
of
out some calorium. What bar of
Uh,
calorium?
I pull out 1 bar of red calorium.
As you kind of think this, as you look up at James, asking him for like one of the items off the list, and as he says the calorium, and looking down as you picture the red calorium bar in your hand, reaching in, you pull out what's about 200 pounds, and almost 200 bars that start pouring out individually of these red
That's for
calorium
one.
bars.
Okay. All right. Yep. That's correct. Now we got 200 pounds of red calorium on the ground.
Everyone just looks at it cluttering out as it's still pouring out.
Be careful. I asked for one and it pulled out all of it, so
I think it comes in sets.
it comes in sets. So every item on that list is like 1 item.
As Roland says, this a small nugget kind of pops out as the last one. That's about 1/4 of an inch, like in size. It's like small. It pops out on the
Well,
pile.
it'll be good for travel then, for transporting large amounts of things.
So, once we know he's actually dead, as I look at him bleeding out, captain's
yeah,
quarters for
Let's take his body to outside the ship. I don't want anything else to happen when he dies.
I
Affect the ship.
we're gonna have to get the blood too. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Alright.
Blood is easy, as I will snap with prestidigitation.
As
Okay,
you
so
do,
we
and the
that
blood
after he stops
dissipates.
bleeding.
Yeah, as you do that, the blood dissipates, and slowly the body begins to fill the blood again as the body is still bleeding. Almost all of its liquids
Also,
out.
can you stop wasting spells on shit that doesn't matter?
Sandra looks back at you, glaring, seeing the magic make the blood vanish.
Okay.
We have
Well then.
we have mops for this. Like, we have physical cleaning supplies.
I pick up the corpse.
Cinder points to the closet with the
I'll
cleaning
yell for
supplies.
Glitterrock to deal with the Zell's
Get some
body and
No.
to get people to move the calorium into metal storage into my room.
Okay, is Roland not? I thought Roland was about to pick him up. Wait, hold up.
I'm grabbing the body. I'm taking him outside the ship.
Okay.
Oh,
He'll build Glorium.
As you go to
Yeah,
look
so
back
I'll
and say
move-
that to Glitterrock, you see as Roland's already got the body under the arms, or under the
Okay,
armpits,
just
and is
the
like carrying
calorium.
him. Glitterrock seems to nod and kind of begins to pick it up and begin like giving orders to some of the men who are kind of on their break as they begin to help keep picking up bars.
pick up the cloak as well and
James, give me a will save as you pick up the cloak.
Knew it.
Rolleman's not magical. You should never trust anything Rolleman touches, man. Because that doesn't
Spell?
necessarily mean it won't fuck you up. It is a spell, correct. You do save, James, as you feel your mind invaded by some sort of magic for a moment, but thankfully you manage to kind of clear your head as you begin to kind of focus your own mana back into your body, the spell dissipating as you let go of the cloak quickly.
Guys, I got a new cloak.
I would say I don't think James got a new cloak yet.
I got a new cloak. Maybe.
We'll empty out
We'll see.
its contents later.
All right,
James
I take,
glaring at it.
I go up the stairs to
Yep.
the deck. I just chuck the body over the edge of the boat.
We're
Alright.
in Gordon, motherfucker.
We're in what? Are we in the city?
Yeah, you're in the middle of the courtyard of
Okay.
Rune's Hold.
Fair enough. Okay. Where would it be a good idea to dispose of a body?
A furnace?
You know, give me a profession.
Furnace?
Give me a profession mercenary check. Actually, let's see if you
Gotcha.
know of any of this off the top of your head. Also,
If you don't, I'm threatening you. I know what to do with it. You're not gonna like it.
23.
I mean, common thing to do back in the day on the battlefield, Rollman, was to dig a big hole in the ground, just shove them in, and pour dirt back over. Maybe leave a mark to say that someone died here. But beyond that, that was usually the most common. Burning with wizard's fire also works, but smells something horrid, and can cause disease, as you would remember.
Yeah.
So, as you kind of look at this, kind of looking at the corpse, as you get it upstairs onto the top deck, looking over the side, seeing a few servants walking by, as you kind of eye them, kind of grimace, and decide to just drop the body on the top of the ship, leaving it there for a moment while you think.
Cedra.
I'm gonna bring a barrel up, an empty barrel.
Okay.
I look at Rollman. Yeah.
You got any ideas how to get rid of this body? We're in, the middle of the city. I don't really want to
Just-
drop him anywhere.
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
You hear James moving about, coming up the stairs with a large wooden barrel. Go ahead,
If
Cinder.
I remember right, Zell's had a lot of natural magic in his body last time we met him, right?
Yes.
You're gonna suck him dry?
What?
Yes,
What?
he did.
So I'm gonna get like I'm gonna go grab. I'll form like a tub of blue ice, and I'm gonna start collecting the blood for later use.
As you head down the stairs past James, seeing James with the large barrel pushing it up the stairs.
I will do this in my room, so I'm just taking the body.
I see them taking the body. I'm just gonna.
James, as you've gotten all the way up the stairs, all the way to the top, you see a Cinder's already dragging the body back down towards these stairs.
I'll put the body in like a sack. I just walk.
I mean, James walked by with a barrel. You can put him in the barrel.
Just steal a barrel.
I was bringing the barrel for the body.
Don't worry. There won't be a body when I'm done.
As,
That's careful, it's blood.
We'll meet you in
grab
the
him up.
captain's quarters. Hurry up.
as Cinder
Okay.
begins to drag the body down in the sack bleeding. Go ahead. What was that roll as well?
I grab him up and clean up the blood.
Okay, as you kind of head down after Cinder, kind of going towards the catfish's little cooking area to the back of it, seeing the cloth mop that's kind of set in the corner with what looks to be a bucket of. You look down at the water. That's not clean by any means, but it's cleaner than the blood itself. As you kind of pick it up and start taking it with you upstairs.
Yeah.
As James heads into the captain's quarters, kind of pushing the barrel off to the side of the door and just heading inside as he waits.
You know what? While I'm waiting, I'm gonna start making up some fake documents.
Okay. Do you have calligraphy by chance?
No, I'll be using mercantile to make these look like what our plans are.
Okay, give me a professional mercantile. Alright, so you start working on that, making up the documents. What are you writing to them as far as it goes?
It's gonna look like our current travel plans, but different locations,
Such as?
so that it's harder to pin us down. With where we're going from, currently we were planning to go to Hemkins, then we'll up to...
Just write our original plan that we abandoned.
Yeah, well, it'll be going from we're going to Hemkins, Sunnas, then up to Fikfis, and then over to Normax, and then heading to Zevrgals.
Okay. As you kind of write this out, putting it into the plan, kind of setting it to the side, beginning to write up the trade documents, the receipts for what you're for all the sales you're expecting to do, kind of setting that aside, making a count of inventory for selling in those towns. You start working on it in the background as Rollerman out. You can see out front is already kind of squeegeeing off the blood from the top deck as he kind of works at cleaning.
Wonder if I have to report an assassination attempt to Magril.
Yeah, as you two kind of work on this, Sindra, as you get into your room, letting the sack out, or letting the body out of the sack, it kind of falls almost immediately into the snowy tundra, covering up quite quickly as you kind of have to start dragging it towards the center of the room. What are you planning to do with this?
So you know how people, when they hunt a deer, they'll hang it upside down and start draining the blood out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to think that's what I need as I enter my room, and I'm going to truss it up like a chicken and let the blood start falling into it.
As you kind of, as you see some rope and kind of begin tying it around his legs, kind of hanging him up on a hook. The blood kind of beginning to drain under what looks to be a barrel that's kind of suddenly appeared underneath the body. It's going to take a while, but it's starting to work as you kind of watch.
Hey, it's gonna do it itself. I'll just leave it there.
There you go. As you kind of see this and begin kind of like nodding, giving a nod of approval as you begin to head back out into the main quarters of the ship and up to the captain's quarters. As you kind of get up there, you see as Roland's already finishing up the last of the top deck, beginning to wash the stairs as he sees as James kind of gives a wave to both of you, trying to get your attention as you two begin to head towards the door.
Yep. I will grab the item, the cloak and shit that I got off the corpse and bring it in there so they can.
Okay. So you kind of kind of picking it up, putting it on your shoulder as you carry it behind you as you begin to walk heading up over into there. As you gather up all the items, kind of putting them in a pile in the center of the room in the captain's quarter. They seem to give a bit of a glimmer for a moment, as if something seems to be going, like magical seems to be going on, and almost as quickly as the blue kind of light seems to appear, it dissipates just as quickly.
What was that?
You're being scryed on? God.
You're always being scryed on.
That's true and fair.
Yeah, like anti-scrying measures? Before I get those.
Well, we're in the room with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the anti-scrying room.
Gotcha.
The only one that can listen to us here is Stan Standerson.
Alright. Now. Am I good to start?
One thing. Stan, could you send a runner to fetch Drift, please?
You hear suddenly around the captain's quarter aloud. All right, but she's currently, as of last reported, down currently in the fire giant's territories. She is not within the territory.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah.
Well then, that's not great. Had a job for her.
She left Roloman's quarters almost immediately and headed off to do her own interests. Last I had seen her, she had left something there. I believe she left a rose for Roloman, as well as some sort of really romantic and sappy card that I was able to pierce through.
Yep.
By the way, Roloman, congratulations on how well endowed you are. Good luck with that. She will look over at Roloman saying that.
We'll have to have you head somewhere then. Send a runner up here for the information on that job.
Understood, boss. Sending one now. As you hear the intercom cut.
So. Now?
Yeah, now.
Okay. Well, we'll start from least important. As I look to Roloman, the catfish said you were a good lay. So anyway.
I wonder if he read the same card.
Wouldn't be surprised. Now, I only know one group of 3 in any documents, as I'll pull out the Kobold document specifically. Kobold King used to have a group called the Swords. Sadly, they were more loyal, without using names, because obviously divine names have power, to a certain evil dragon that dealt in souls. Whose name happened. Oh.
Don't say it out loud. We're all aware.
Well, yes, I realize who he's referring to.
Honestly, Cinder Tat turns the book and like waves her finger underneath the name as you can read it now, right?
I was gonna say, we can call him Omelet.
No,
Omelet. Oh, what a nice name.
There you go. That's an adorable dog name. That's not one for an evil dragon.
No one knows where he went after the attack on the kobold, as he kind of just vanished. But now, if it was mentioned by our good friend, we can probably guess where he ended up.
Under the control of
yes,
Greg
we
somehow?
can. Well, Greg controlling him.
Probably a little to each other, to be honest.
That doesn't bode well.
Now, downside, the army is not the threat. It'd be these 3, because each one was known to be close to the level of a world leader.
So out of our wheelhouse at current.
One of them could probably kill 3 of us. And they were especially known to fight very well in tandem with each other.
So separating and picking them off isn't even a likely strategy.
No, from my understanding, they most of the time weren't spotted very far from each other ever.
Well, it seems like our only choice is to avoid them somehow then, but of their ability to track us, I am unsure how they've accomplished it.
We would need someone
Simple.
else to deal.
There's that. There's also the fact that Greg has a scry on me, and a spy technically in our midst who's still listening in on this conversation.
We also don't exactly hide where we're going.
No.
Which is a precaution I'm starting to take.
Too late, to be honest.
Better
It's
late
too
than
late
never.
for this incident, but future incidents might save us some skin.
Okay.
So I don't know how you want to deal with these three powerful people in their army. Presumably, we need someone else to deal with it. Don't know who we could call on, but
Oh,
We could
well,
maybe
if
swing it so that this is, I don't know how this would work, but that they're after the Dwarven Kingdom as a whole.
there's that, there's also the fact that we could report the fact that
well,
he tried to kill a hero of the Frost Giant Nation.
when the Snowbeards walked into the Dragon Kingdom to help, it became a giant political fiasco. We wouldn't have to swing it. Just them being here trying to follow us would become a political fiasco because it's an army and a bunch of hybrid warriors. That alone would cause a political fiasco with most houses here.
It would most
True.
likely also kick off the large-scale war early.
Greg wouldn't want a war he's not prepared for. It's good for province if you're ready for the war. It's bad for province if it kicks off when you least expect it and you're the one that gets dragged in.
It could be that potentially Greg will have to disown or cut loose this army of people. That would really screw him over.
It is true. If he took these swords from another kingdom, they're probably at most for him showpieces. He probably doesn't truly care what happens to them if he gets what he wants. But he said kidnap you in the next few days. I mean, if we avoid for the next few days, presumably he'll miss his timetable of when he needed you for.
Correct, and well, he has the magic to teleport me away, technically, but he'd have to bring, I do believe, my current active companions.
Yep.
All right.
Oop.
There's also the fact of this guild of thieves that might be on our ass here soon.
Well, yes, we're gonna go return that dagger, and if you don't like it, it's too damn bad.
Well, if we have time before this army appears, it could give us good faith with in here and with the dwarves overall, or snowbeards.
It would help us to have people who can drain power from them, yes. And if I'm gonna be threatened, then I may as well make do with what I can. Sindra, I need your take on something. Historically for snowbeards. The councils are only ever called when we needed to deal with the king, but I do recall from ancient records that there used to be a consistent council. Correct?
Was there?
No, not to my knowledge.
No.
Okay, no. Okay.
Nope.
Sindra just looks
I
at you
know
like
it's been called.
Sindra stares at you like you're crazy.
Okay, so that's not true. Misunderstanding on my part, but we might need to try to push for a switch to a council-like system.
Throughout most of the time, from my understanding, it's always been more or less a bunch of separate little states that happen to pay lip service, if you will, to the idea of their king house, the Venkaz.
So do you think that the clans would go for a council-like rulership?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. They'd go to war so fast to pick the new king. Absolutely not. Not even. They wouldn't even.
As Cinder looks down at the list of all the houses and sees the clear, easy lines of like who hates who, just immediately popping up.
I lay out these houses and start drawing almost every line to each other. Like they hate this guy, they hate this guy, they hate this guy.
This guy fucked his mom.
Yeah, there's political mishaps amongst all the houses. As Cinder kind of goes into the in-depth idea of what
a lesser council system of 3 kings, not putting all the power in one place?
You'd still see a war. You'd probably see a split into 3 nations that hate each other. I hate to tell you, James, your best pick's to pick a new king. They're not going to reform easily, and Snowbeard change. You'd be looking to shift to a council.
Yeah, we're stubborn as fuck. I know that. In that case, Bronzebeard's the best out of the options we currently know of that will approach us.
You kind of just spit in their
Outright.
face last night.
I told them I wanted to look at all options.
Yeah, and then he immediately said he now knows you're an enemy. Back to you.
Yeah, that he recognized me as a threat.
He kind of doesn't.
Well, have to figure it out then. So, back onto the main topic. With this army coming after us, we're going to return the dagger and hopefully deal with those things. I look to Zelm's possessions. Roman, I can't use that cloak. Zel's things, not Zelm's. Zel's.
Why not?
It's cursed. It affects magic wielders.
Oh, well, that makes sense why it didn't do anything to me. Well, that means we can't really identify it then, huh?
I can.
When James says return dagger, I glanced to Rollman, who was, before the assassination, ready to go kill them all.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, like, returning the dagger, it means that there's gonna leave the thieves here, which, from our fight with the hag, we saw thieves literally on every single street.
Yeah, roughly,
but they
Rollman,
avoided certain places.
During your time as a dog, you roughly counted maybe at least 100 thieves that were actually capable, not just like your average like looters who are doing this because, hey, it's a good chance to do so. Like, these are actual professional thieves that you saw.
James, we have 3 options with the thieves. You could give them the dagger back, leave them, city will stay infested with thieves. Try to kill them. It'll be a struggle, we could probably do it. Or we go cut off the head, which is probably this group that we got the dagger from, and take control.
Taking control would be the easiest route, but I'd rather not run a bunch of thieves.
Oh no, it'll be incredibly difficult. I mean, we're going to have to find every separate group and get them to bow.
Yeah, now you're fighting 2 political fronts, because first you got your Snowbeards over the the above board, and then you got below board. You want to get the thieves too.
Killing and controlling are equally difficult. It's just controlling is going to be, can you talk really, really good, and offer them very good profit consistently. Killing is very straightforward.
I believe the killing would confuse them and lead to the city probably getting the upper hand over the thieves, and then slowly they might just push them back.
Could wipe
Magro,
one group
when we talked before, made it seem like he had the thieves in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but he only referenced that about during the war, not in general.
Correct. He did say that he had done with them ahead of time with that, basically getting them so they wouldn't steal everything, or he had captured those who had.
Now, to make them slightly weaker, that make him have better control over them.
We could kill the main group and go from there, see if it's possible to take control, because that's the head of the snake. This should be the strongest group in the city. If it's not, I'm here heavily concerned.
Well, are we equipped enough to fight?
We'll go that route
assassins?
then, because having some thieves being able to spread throughout the kingdom and work as spies and spread the good word of us would be a great idea.
I asked the question to both of them. Are we welcome to deal with any assassins, though?
Oh, of course, as always. It's just try to get information under them before we kill them. Like if they're willing to turn, who hired them, what's the purpose, for what reasoning.
Well, from what I remember, DM, I could be wrong.
Yes.
The group who got the dagger from, they're fanatics, right? Because they're like more like a cult.
Yeah, because what you read on the dagger, when I think it was James who was able to read the letters, it said those who are forsaken take the oath, and they are the Black Rose Thieves Guild.
I'm willing to bet every single one is oath that if they try to speak there, what happened to our friend over there is what is going to happen to them.
Also, they probably have so many countermeasures to just kill themselves if they're captured.
They are cultists.
Oh, I'm not worried about them. For the assassins there, just off them.
No. Do we raid them later or do we raid them now when they least expect it?
That is the question.
I think we should raid them just before they expect the dagger back, which would be tomorrow morning.
Wouldn't 24 hours be like tonight?
No, because it said the 24 hours, it was counting down from when he swung it 3 times, which was this morning.
Potentially. Which was it also started counting from when I obtained ownership of it.
That's the problem, because it's an automated message. It wasn't a person talking to us.
That wasn't activated until he swung it 3 times.
There's always the risk. How long has it been since I killed the assassin that had the dagger?
I believe that was the day prior that happened. So it has been roughly about, I'd say 14-ish hours since last.
Okay. The minimum time we have is probably around 10 hours.
As Roland kind of thinks about it.
We could also run the route of just having them come to us. Of course, not on the ship, but maybe somewhere else in the city.
Yeah. We could go set up somewhere. They're not going to come us all at once, though. Probably 1 or 2 assassins, but we could go prep for that. However, I'm willing to bet that if we leave the ship, they're just going to hit the ship.
Well, they're probably going for the dagger. And if we bring the dagger somewhere, it's, got a probably a locator on it. We could bring it somewhere, and then they'll go there.
If we want to go spot in the city before the towers are up.
That
what do you think, James?
is doable.
It's up to you.
I'm a little low on some magic, but should be fine.
Syndra gives you a dirty look from the comment earlier when you mentioned that, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I got you. As you mentioned that kind of...
Look, I have the important spell ready.
As you see the door kind of creaking open slightly, you see what looks to be greenish skin, recognizing the imagery of Stan Standerson kind of opening the door as he does. His thick leather cloak kind of covering most of his body, his little red hat, or his brownish hat, brownish fedora kind of covered in what looks to be some rain as he kind of steps inside, wiping himself down a little bit. He looks up at James and goes, "Figured I'd come in person, as this seemed to be something important. Didn't think someone would try to scry through my anti-scrying field and almost succeed."
Well, that might be Greg.
That would answer why he almost succeeded. Also means I'm not going to be paid very well this week. Fantastic.
I'll give you a little bonus, because Greg just tried to kill me.
Oh, he's moved up his plans. I was told it would be 5 years from now when he'd go after you. Oh.
And he sucked the dogs on me, to give you a reference.
Looks down at the thing of armor, looks over the still shirtless Roland.
I still don't have a shirt on.
And nods at that and goes, "Makes sense. So you want me to do what? Gather information on his whereabouts? Figure out why he wants to kill you?"
Oh, he thinks I'm a threat to him and thinks I have a moving nation at this point.
You kind of do.
That's what you kind of do.
I mean, we make more money than most nations. He kind of looks at Syndra and Roland for help here and goes, "And wherever you go, you spend money like a world leader. I mean..."
James, we spend more than a national diet in most cities we stop in.
He nods at that.
That is fair, but...
In fact, actually, I think Greg Smartom's the only man I know that spends more than you when he goes traveling.
Some countries run on less than 500 gem pieces, like a month.
500 is considered a lot.
That usually on a dinner.
Well, I'm noting from like them having an active treasure at that much. That's like the nation, like bright green and stuff like that. Like they work on a very small.
As you mentioned that though, James, Stan looks up at you and goes, "You spend that on guards to bribe them. There's a guard captain in Dragon's Crown that has done nothing but speak good deals of you while he's been setting up his shop."
I know, and that's why I do that.
Yes, but
totally not a joke or anything.
You paid him near 10 grand by the time he retired. You understand that how much that money is worth, right? You can see Stan looking at you as if you are a spoiled child, slightly.
I do understand how much money is worth. I work to get it. And making sure I have good contacts in places is part of using it.
You gave 50 gold pieces to a barmaiden.
Stan holds his hand out towards Syndra like, see?
We've talked about that, and I will curb that.
You never talk to her again, so she's not an informant. I'm just saying.
Stan just shakes his head and goes, James, if you wouldn't mind allowing me to deal with getting you your connections, I don't care if you want to pay them afterwards, but at least let me vet them to make sure you're paying for something worthwhile.
Alright, well, besides that, we have a man that needs to take... We have a man and a delivery to go to, Utham's territory, and we need to pull out of there, out of Velcomen and Grimhurst Fleshhold for our shops.
He nods and goes, I can
Something
pass.
came up and I was unable to keep my deal as I tapped the eye.
You see as you tap the eye, there is suddenly a paleness to Stan almost immediately as he recognizes the item. Not like the item what it does or what it is, but seems to get a sense of recognition of the power it has as you kind of lift your hair up slightly. Sorry, I apologize for that. I forgot you're bald. Lifting up the eye patch slightly.
Damn.
That's it. I have hair again. DM said it. Miraculously regrew.
As you're...
He doesn't have an eye. It burned off immediately.
What? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. As you kind of tap your eye, it seems to almost immediately, as he recognizes the magic from and goes almost pale, and you can feel and see the fear clearly in his eyes. Like, this guy is suddenly terrified of you, James.
Calm down. I have no intention of harming anyone who works for me. Ever.
Well, that's good to know that I'll have to work for you for the rest of my days. And, I guess there's worse fates. So you want me to pass on this item to Velcomen and then let the men know to pull out and assist with making sure they pulled out properly?
Items, the crew went on a bit of a spending spree and tried to load us down with roughly 200 pounds of doodads and whatnot.
It's one frost giant who's carrying all the items.
There is a tasteful painting of Regan Utham down in the stables that was hung up.
Huge.
And it's got
one of them.
Beautiful bronze frame. I'd say it's probably worth near 1,000 gold.
That's what they paid for it.
I think it's kind of spruces up the place a little bit to keep it down there. Isn't doing any harm, but the rest of it I can definitely take.
I've talked to them and we'll keep the painting down there. It shows that we do have a good relation. Or at least try to have a good relation with them.
Nods.
Roman does not agree.
The painting can be used as an artificial wall, too. So...
Roman does not agree.
Look, Syndra just appreciates a tasteful picture of someone with blue skin. Right?
It's 2-1.
His very beautiful, attire, because it's all glimmering, because he was all royally dressed up to really show the impression, and then his gruesome-ass scythe in his hand, that's just horrifying looking.
It's good craftsmanship. It's good craftsmanship.
But as Stan kind of nods at that and goes, I can do that. I can move a bunch of items and get us out without any complaint. I think Regan Utham and I still have a decent relation with one of my connections. Shouldn't be a problem.
We'll be letting go of the buildings that we own, too.
Understood. We selling or are we just giving back to the community?
Make it look like it'll be giving back to the community. It'll be a loss on my end, but better than having Regan Utham hunt me immediately.
Alright, I'll make sure to let him know and set it up as a charity that we'll give it out to one of the Frost Giant clients we respect. Sure.
Say it's for helping against the war effort.
Alright. He understands. He kind of nods at that and goes, I can do that.
And then we need a letter delivered or a hiring to the people that built the roads over in his land. We're gonna need them here soon.
That guild, last I had heard, is in King's End, but I can reach out to them and see if they are willing to do business. They cost quite a lot, I hope you understand. Regan Utham was paying them out of his own personal pockets. I think the road cost him near 100,000 gold pieces easy.
James is gonna smile. That's perfect. That'll be fine.
If that's what you want, one road between a single city or two cities, I'll get them in touch with you.
Yes, because we need that between Hardhelm and Runeshold. If anyone else wishes to hire them, that'll be on their own.
You know, it's a thought. He goes, okay. And kind of pulls out a little what looks to be a notepad. He flips over and starts writing all this down, and goes, and then lastly, I'm assuming you want me to look into this person Zales was going to hire for Syndra. Apologies, I could hear it over the scrying in the bit of the lower deck.
That, and we'll have you deliver as I gesture to as I look at the list, something that will make a last sale to Regan Utham.
He nods.
Of this capsule, this god capsule. I don't wish to keep it with me. It seems like it's more trouble than it's worth for the era it's from.
He nods again at that and goes, alright, big ass scary weapon, keep with caution. Understood?
Yep, keep this side up.
I'm going to pull out the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, when they swear a proper oath and can use this, you'll know you found the right caster.
Kind of looks at the staff, and you see as he kind of nods at you and begins to pull something out of his bag of holding as he puts on 2 white gloves and then takes hold of it. As you see a little bit of a magical tinge for a moment, and it seems to cause the staff to become mundane while it's in his hands as he kind of like puts it into his bag of holding. Apologies, Lady Syndra. After seeing how cautious you lot were, I've become a little bit, as he takes his gloves off, a little bit more worried when it comes to items.
I get it.
Correct.
It's a demonic magic. I get it.
Oh.
Right.
One last thing, if Little Scarf is still on the ship that was ran by Nar,
He nods.
as I pull out a scroll and set it down. It is a magic scroll of Nar summoning, the one item I got when Nar left to call him an emergency. Give that to Little Scarf.
Okay.
He'll know what to do with it.
Yeah, he nods at that. Kind of, having seen Rollman kind of pipe up and then quiet once James had another thing to his list, kind of looks over at Rollman almost immediately and goes, yes, sir, Rollman.
I can show you how to obtain the dangerous item and put it with your own bag.
I'd appreciate that if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, then can you see the ethereal blade? In any way?
Oh, he pulls out of his bag of holding a pair of golden with like onyx glasses, like sunglasses, and puts them on his head and goes, "Now I can."
Okay, then I will hold the cloak and open it so that you can see the pockets. Just reach in there, pull that out. You guys take stuff back.
As you say this, you see Stan kind of look immediately nervous. Goes,
"Hey, you're the one with the gloves."
my gloves can't get into the pockets because they make the item I touch mundane. I have to reach in with... Kind of looks at you and looks over at James with a bit of a pleading look in his eyes and goes, do I really have to do this?
Could you pull it out for him? You're the least likely to be affected.
I don't know, because the elves feared this item.
Should I not do it because I have a patron and it's less likely to tie to me?
You should do it, because the elves fear this item, so I don't want to touch it.
Fuck it. Let's do this.
Alright. Cinder, as you go, as Roland turns it towards you, seeing the hesitation from Stan, as you walk over.
Stan, you go hide.
Stan immediately takes cover behind one of the chairs.
I wave Stan from behind the heavy desk. Fucking putting it behind my shield.
In a crouch run.
Now. I'm no longer going to be shirtless.
In a crouch
I do need
run.
Stan's glasses to be able to see.
Oh yeah, Stan, do the glasses.
Takes them all from behind James's desk as he's cowering, leans over and holds them out for Cinder to take.
Nope.
Get behind the shield, man. Get behind the
Cinder,
shield.
as you put on the glasses, not only do you see the ethereal pockets, but you see Rollman has a full beard and mustache. James has a head of hair and looks ancient looking. And this ship looks to be gilded out with gold, silver, and a bunch of other rare gemstones all around. Books encrusted with gold, valuable metals, and that glimmer as you look about. Everything in here looks valuable and expensive compared to what you're used to.
Weird.
But as you look over, you can see the pockets as well, clear as day.
Alright. Time to pull out this goddamn god artifact. Sure, why not?
Do you have the transfer bag of holding? I asked Stan if Cinder can have it so they can put it in quickly.
Takes out a bag off his back as he unties it, a very clearly empty sack, and kind of put it on the table and nudges it towards the edge for Syndra.
It's like radiation.
We're prepping for this to explode, and I really don't want it to explode in my office. I have my hammer ready to dispel magic.
I'm just saying, you're having me grab a bomb. I am the worst possible bomb diffuser, but I got this.
Hey, you know what? Fight fire with fire, or bomb with bomb.
I'm fighting fire with ice in this case.
So Cinder, you're going to reach in, and what are you thinking about?
What? He said sword, right? That's what he was saying earlier.
He said he described it as a katana, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only weapon in there. It should be the only thing that comes off. I think sword.
As you begin to think sword.
With sheath.
Okay.
With sheath.
I was about to say, as you think of the sheathed sword, as he described it, the blackened sheath of it, and the design that he described, you feel something as you put your hand in the pocket. Something wet kind of seems to lick your hand for a moment, and it's a strange and slimy feeling as you feel it. A moment goes by as you're not really feeling anything until you feel something slimy kind of touch your hand again, and something heavy begin to fill your hand as you take hold and feel it pulls you slightly in a little bit with the weight of it, but not like it's trying to pull you in outright, but more just the weight kind of is surprisingly heavy. As you begin to try and pull it out, the blade comes out hilt first as you pull out and see runes of abyssal magic kind of glimmering slightly on them as you pull it out little by little. Syndra, I need a spellcraft check, and then I need a will save.
Yeah, I figured.
Just, also, don't worry, that's not Igu licking Syndra's hand.
That's what I was about to ask. I was like,
That was Igu, you
That's what I
freak.
thought. That's why I said the...
I was gonna say in character, I swear to God, if Igu was licking my hand, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
You haven't met you.
That's exactly the reason he wants to kill him.
I don't have to. Not like they're licking my hand.
It's true. It is a little weird when you suddenly have your hand
It was
licked.
the hell wasp.
Spellcraft.
Okay.
What's my plus on will saves? Oh, I have a really high plus on will saves.
That's why you're grabbing a thing.
Yeah, yours are higher than even mine.
I'm just
spell.
What? Oh, is this a spell?
No, this is not a spell.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
That's
shit.
+2.
Oh, wait.
Right.
Oh, no.
I need an intelligence check from Syndra. You're about to get ego tested.
I'm
That's not
smart.
good.
I'm actually really smart.
Yep.
Big brain. You didn't smoke the pipe, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Not yet this morning.
I haven't had a reason to use the pipe. Let's see. That's a 16. I have a +4. That's 20.
20. You see as Syndra immediately starts to transform and change their form as they pull this blade out. What looks to be ancient-looking, old 6-foot-tall Samog Tabaxi begins to form as Syndra begins to almost find themselves covered up in this strange darkened dust that envelops them, their body beginning to morph and change, a long beard growing out, a huge mane growing out the back of their head, their body covering in fur and expanding as long icicle claws begin to poke out and spike, his horns becoming even more predominant and expanding out, as now stands in front of you as the smoke kind of clears, a robed female Samog Syndra, looking as if she was a lioness with a mane.
Typing.
Shit.
Syndra does not want to have to change their character again. As Syndra thinks that, but as you pull the blade fully out, you feel the magic coursing through you, and Syndra, you hear in your head, "It's been so long since one of the Idjins had decided to wield me. Welcome, youngin."
I am not a swordsman.
You say this out loud, not thinking that you're speaking this in your mind. You all hear as Syndra says this.
Yeah, I just stare at the sword and go, I am not a swordsman.
Sidra, drop the sword. Put it in the bag.
No,
Put it in the bag.
You hear the voice once more and go, "Oh, neither was my last wielder. Don't worry, I'm not a blade of destruction. I'm more an asset to use for your casting, giving access to magic long forgotten and more evil than," as you feel your mind beginning to become overcome as this thing's reading your memories and goes, "or more than what you think of necromancy. An ancient magic long forgotten."
I'm gonna be blunt. Am I stuck with you now? As I think that back.
Do you think this, though, seemingly almost speaking out loud as if you're unable to keep your own thoughts in your head as you kind of do say this? You all hear the Cinder's half of the conversation.
God damn it.
As the Blade responds and goes, "No, I can leave you at any time I wish. I just have to wish it."
Yeah, he has to wish it, so I am stuck with him.
I'm gonna cut off Cinder's hand with the sword.
Well, that's a choice.
We can reattach it. Cinder is the easiest one to fix.
Alright, I mean, if you want to take a swing at Cinder, that's on you, man. I don't think Cinder would be expecting you to cut her hand off.
Cinder did not drop the sword. I asked them to. They did not drop it.
Yeah, if you want to make a surprise attack, because I can't see any reason Cinder would expect you to suddenly strike them outright. So, yeah, make a surprise round attack. Go ahead.
Okay. They're putting for that, correct? I believe.
Yes, correct.
29 to hit.
Cinder?
You miss.
Cinder, as you go to swing, you watch as the blade, or the sheathed blade pulls back a little bit, catching your blade perfectly as before Cinder can even react naturally. As you look up, Cinder is a little bit surprised herself as she sees her arm moving without even a reason and bouncing your blade away from her.
Drop the sword.
Buddy, it's in my head. Cutting off my hand won't do anything.
Get the sword out of your head.
Rollman, give me a will save. As you begin to see Cinder's magic begin to glow.
Shit. Okay. I will use a moment of perfect mind.
Perfect.
It's a concentration check. 39.
Good news, you do succeed. Bad news, I need a fortitude save to see how much, if you're taking the secondary effect or not.
That's not good.
Good news is you're not charmed outright by this thing, but 20? Alright, Roland, you feel as you have 1 point of constitution drained as your blood begins to flow out of your ears and eyes and nose towards the blade, enveloping it and absorbing into the sheath.
So there's actually a 24% chance that fails because of my armor.
Oh, you know what? Fair. Let me roll.
So,
1d100. That's a 56. Okay. Yeah. So as this kind of happens, and you feel the your blood being pulled away, James and Stan kind of peeking over the desk, seeing this. Cinder kind of looking at you with surprise as James raises his shield, ready to go.
Ouch.
Hey, no blood draining.
Give it back.
The blade responds and goes, "Your friend seeks the end of your life. I will not abide by such a thing, and find him quite unpleasant. Either remove him, or I shall."
Rollman, the sword demands that I either... Well, he said remove. Preferably leave the room.
This is not good.
No, it's not.
As Roman realizes Cinder's now somewhat of at least a decent enough fighter, she's about actually taking you on seemingly without any concern.
Can I use my armor to estimate Cinder's strength right now?
What do you mean by use your armor?
My armor's ability to see the CR rating or something.
The CR checker.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Is it a roll or is it outright?
It just happens.
Oh, it does happen. Okay. Remind me of the specifications real quick, because I want to make sure I have it right for you.
I get to choose either I know the amount of levels or their highest leveled class or their CR rating.
That's right. And you're asking what what Cinder's CR is now?
Yes.
Cinder, what's your level again? It's 9?
Yep.
If I remember right, CR is double what level is. So
No, CR is level. And
is
then
it level?
Whatever else
Exactly.
you add on.
Then,
Exactly.
all right, making sure. I want to make sure. Okay, cool. All right, then with that, then this would be roughly, Cinder is roughly about CR 25-ish from what you can tell.
Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck!
You're an epic creature, fuck.
Oh,
Alright.
now where are the...
Leave the fucking room.
Roman kind of looking a little bit more nervous and concerned, kind of backs away from the
Take
to the
cloak
door.
with me.
Yeah, taking the cloak. You notice as Roman doesn't show his back to you at all, Cinder, kind of keeping his eyes locked on you as he backs away from out of the room. Closing the door, he's still looking through the window, staring, kind of watching you. As you notice, the door's not fully closed. It's cracked enough to let Roman hear what's going on, but just closed enough to where it wouldn't be noticeable.
All right.
Sindra, are we gonna have to put you on your own ship?
We're gonna find out here in a second. As I look down at the sword. All right. What can I call you? Nickname, moniker, true name, doesn't really matter.
One who survived 1,000 deaths? No, that's too edgy. One who killed a primordial god? No, I did 3 of those last week.
God.
Lawbearer Slayer? No, that wouldn't make sense to your understanding.
Oh.
The Sword of Moors. That's what he called me when they first made me.
I understood the second to last one, but fair enough. Fair enough.
I served as a Sword of Moors, and I was crafted at one time by an individual with many appendages on his back and bright blue skin.
Huh. Okay. So, why are you choosing me when I was gonna probably hand you off to someone far more capable?
I did not choose you.
Is this just what happens when you're grabbed?
No, I don't know why you're affected like this. This does not normally happen.
It's performance anxiety. This doesn't normally happen to him.
I'm thinking about a guy sitting in a bed with a girl like, I swear this isn't normal.
That's an adventure with his sword. The sword just sighing in the corner.
Alright. Do you have any, I don't know, we have a bad track record with ego items. Downsides, goals that I'm gonna have be forced to fill, similar?
No, you are not bonded to me, nor can you. You are exactly the opposite match for what my capabilities are. As I seek through your memories, you will die if you would actually pull my blade. Almost immediately. You feel suddenly a pressure of magic beginning to expand out into the room. James, give me a spellcraft check.
Oh god.
To see if you recognize this.
Then can I put you in the transferring bag, or are you gonna stick to my hand? Because I said you have to decide if you leave.
James, give me a will save.
Son of a...
James begins to click 2 things together when Cinder seems to speak out loud. Clicking. This thing doesn't seem. This is not. 16. All right, I need an intelligence check from James.
Oh, you're being weird.
He's not that smart.
That's the dangerous part.
Roll high. That's high.
Cinder, you feel as the blade pulls out of your hands, and you immediately begin to turn into this gray smoke surrounding you again as you change back to your snowbeard form. The blade goes flying over towards James and smacks him in the head, almost falling into his shield.
No.
Well, your turn.
I rush in to try and stop the blade from getting to him.
All right, get rolling. Give me a reflex save. Let's see if you can grab it before. I'll have the sword roll reflex as well, out of fairness. It has a 0, so no worries.
It has a -5.
That's a nat 20, oh my god! Alright. Now,
that's still
I could beat it.
15.
Yeah,
Math.
Well, I know you could easily beat it. You're a fighter mix.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god. As Roman,
15.
seeing this, panics, rushes in toward... Wait, why are you saying it's 15?
Huh?
It has 0 dex.
-5.
No, 0 dex modifier is what I was
Maybe
saying.
10.
Yeah, so it means, so that's what I'm saying, is it doesn't have a bonus. It doesn't have a negative or a bonus to its reflex. But no, as Roman rushing in, pushing the door open as he sees the reaction, suddenly seeing Cinder's the smoke kind of beginning around her feet, rushing in as fast as he can as he sees the blade begin to move from her hand, as Roman gets to the desk right as the blade goes past it, hitting James in the head, barely missing it by an inch as his fingers grasp at just the last of the string as it flows out of his fingers, smacking into James as James looks on at the weapon in surprise and anger. It is now in his lap, basically. As Stan quickly shoves himself backwards, falling on his ass as he pushes up against the
Do I hear the voice in my head now?
You do. And
I grab the bag.
As Roman grabs the bag, you hear...
My hands are both on my shield.
You hear James. You though are exactly what the kind of individual who would be good at wielding my powers and capabilities. One who does not like good or darkness, one who does not seem to understand the abilities to change between them. You, my friend, are the perfect vessel to wield me.
Except I'd rather not, given the fact that I've had bad effects from items akin to you before.
You feel your memory being kind of shifted through as if someone's like grabbing at your brain like it's a pack of grain.
I'm just gonna relax and let the memories flow calmly.
As it does, as Roland kind of picks up the transfer bag while holding off the table and looking at you, James, speaking out loud as he says all this, as you both hear this, the weapon kind of continues and goes, "So I see you are damaged, lacking in intelligence. You truly are a very interesting individual, one who can't take on my magic but has every reason to do so. You I'm confused by. Either you're
I'm
intelligent and capable, or you're an idiot who is the luckiest individual in history. Not sure
It's
which.
a bit of both.
You say that, but your companions are far more capable than they should, and your fate should have been sealed. Interesting. Your death escaped by a hag. Your death escaped by another hag. You need a weapon of hag's bane, my friend.
Planning on making a couple.
I believe we can come to a conclusion between the two of us, one that benefits us both. You hang me over your desk like a mantelpiece. Create a beautiful piece of wood that lets me sit on there and be on display. In exchange, I will grant you my knowledge of times past. At least until I find a host that I find more susceptible than you.
Well, I do also need to find someone, as you can see, who has, and since you have the ability to see someone's destiny, you think you'd be able to help me find someone equivalent?
Nope. As the blade goes silent.
It's a fast no.
That was a really fast no. I think I'm stuck in a deal I can't do, guys.
Roland's eyeing up the blade in its sheath while it's still laying in your arms.
I'm ready for when it jumps again, if it does, to fucking put in that fucking
I'm
bag.
going to nod my head towards it
Okay.
for Roland to put it in the bag.
I don't know what your nods mean. I'm sorry, man.
As Roland just looks at you nodding up and down, and you hear the blade speak again in your head, James, and go, "Oh, tisk tisk, if you should do something such as that, I will be forced to unleash my blade. And the last time that happened, well, an age ended and a new era began."
I'm sure you'd prefer to speak with somebody much more capable than I.
No, I'm quite happy with you.
And all you want is a wooden, basically,
Mantelpiece.
sword stand.
No, you see you hear a confirmation or an affirmation from the blade.
Would you mind if I hung you behind over the desk? Against the back wall?
I see no issue with such a thing, but I request that the one holding the bag leave me be, for his people are a problem.
Oh, I fear elves.
Well, he's my best friend, but he won't draw you.
And I have an elvish bane upon me that allows me to drain from their own magical blood. I believe the two of us would not get along quite well, as it seems he is not intent on allowing me to be.
Rollman, step back. It looks like this thing is sticking around. Do you have a moniker I can call you? Because I don't believe Sindra said the name out loud either.
Nope. You may call me either the Sword of Moors or the Sword of Morin. Either will work. I've served as both, and in history know many a things.
Oh, great. Something else dealing with Jakix.
I do not recognize the Morins in your memory. They describe themselves as such, but they don't bear the power or the mark of the family or the clan. I'm not sure, other than this one that you seem to find fearful to be, the rest seem to be lacking in their Morin blood, if they are.
Oh, Kaijin?
I do not speak the one's name who cut down fate itself.
What do I tell you about saying names?
God damn it.
Cinder and Roman look at you, and you can feel something
Disappointment.
is looking and lurking in the room suddenly as the entirety of the captain's quarters gets darker and darker.
Fuck.
Why'd you do it, man?
We have a deal. Please go away. Please go away.
Apologies, just talking to something about you. Nothing harmful.
You see as the smokes kind of slightly dissipates and vanishes just as quickly.
You know, I was gonna ask the question of, do I believe like James has his own mind right now? But I don't need to ask that question anymore.
Well, yeah, as he spoke out loud, it doesn't take much to realize that he seems to be lacking in any sort of smart decision making right now. James seems a little panicky and a little worried as he's kind of getting overwhelmed with this sword's capabilities.
I will hang you then, and you will stay on the ship. I will move. You will stick with me from ship to ship as I move along.
I would appreciate such a glorious day in my life, one that I can spend resting and relaxing not inside of a bag of holding, in which the individual continues to pour cheese puffs into.
Was that what Zels was doing? Ugh.
I was picked up out of a tomb by a greedy little man that had a nasty orange material on him that was sticky and got all over my handle. If you do such a thing, I will remove your sense.
I usually wear gauntlets and eat when I'm handling things such as you.
You eat with gauntlets on?
No, gauntlets come off when I eat.
He eats the gauntlets.
Oh, you eat the gauntlets.
Both of you, shush. Syndra, could you go grab me some great wood from storage, please?
I stared at him and don't respond because he said to shush.
Also, Cinder, think about the heavy weight of the Great Wood down there, and how the workout she's already gotten today.
Never mind, Syndra. I apologize. Thinking about it.
She is still slightly sweaty from earlier.
It'll take me a couple days to get you set up. Would you mind being set in the corner for now?
As long as I am treated with care and the one with pointed ears stays away from me, I will accept these terms.
I will nod, and I will take him over to. I'm sure there's a back corner where there's a spot to set weapons, like a weapon rack.
I mean, you have an actual armor stand that can fully just hold a sword because you've had these before. You made these before.
Yeah, I'll just set him up in that.
Yeah, as
sheathed, of course.
Yeah, naturally. Well, as you look at the sheath, you also realize it's tied. The blade is tied to the sheath. There's no way you could actually easily tear it off. And as you test the strings, it's a pretty clear sign that there's some sort of intestine. They're still in good quality as you kind of get a good look at them. They haven't frayed. There's no sign of any age to them. I mean, this blade is this sheath is in great shape.
Then you won't be taking this thing. It's going to be sticking around here for now.
Stan kind of sitting behind, or he pushed up against the bookshelf on the corner, nods at that.
James, what's the plan?
Stan gets up and walks off as Roman says that, looking at James.
As I set it up on the armor stand and looked at Roman, don't touch it.
Okay, explain more, please.
It is an Elves Bane weapon.
Okay. Why is it in an armor stand and not going in the bag?
Roman looks down at the bag.
If I put it in the bag, it will kill us.
Can you please just say the entire thing, James? What the hell is taking you so long?
If I put it in the bag, it will kill us, so it said. It just wishes to be around and has promised to act akin to a living advisor for history. Ancient history.
As James kind of eyes it out of the corner of his eye. As Roman says, that's it, yeah. And as you look at looking up James up and down, James does not look like he's given much more as you kind of get the understanding.
Which led to this little slip of the tongue, as it has to be called the Blade of the Morins or the Blade of Moors.
James, give me a fortitude save.
Did I fuck something up?
You mispronounced it. You missaid its name, and you've slightly angered it. Not to the point where it's going to kill you, but this is a minor bit of damage it's trying to do to you. This is a spell effect, though.
Alright. The Blade of Moors was correct. I probably fucked the Moors.
Nope. It is the Sword of Morin or Sword of Moors. It did not call it
Sword
the Blade.
Or Sword of Moors.
Oh, you do succeed, so you don't take any points of damage, thankfully.
Sorry, correction. The Sword.
Okay, just the sword?
Of Moors or of more.
Morin, you're correct. As you see,
Or-
James is like slightly like thinking. He's trying to make sure he gets this right, as he feels a bit of magical pressure at the back of his head, like a spike waiting to drive through.
Have I ever heard of like the Sword of Wars before?
Give me a knowledge history or knowledge religion check.
Both those are the same. It's just a straight intelligence check.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, you
Yeah.
can pick one.
15.
For history? There are rough depictions back in your homeland of elves that painted on caves, basically depicting this sword as something that an ancient elf once wielded, roughly depicted as seemingly cutting down strange beast-like creature, what you've grown to understand probably were beast folk at the time. A blade called the Sword of Moors was what was listed, and it was written in ancient Elvish alongside this imagery that your mother would take you to kind of look at and learn the histories of your people. This sword was said to allow the elves to capture the magic of Moors itself, having come from a mysterious benefactor that was shown to be looking as if a blue spider with 8 legs. As it was depicted in the cave painting. Beyond that, what you roughly get is that this sword was once one of your people's holy artifacts, but that was long after its creation, and it was used to basically gain their supposed independence and guarantee themselves away from Greg's war. Seemingly cutting down multitudes of dragons to the point where Greg did not see value in continuing to pursue and wipe out the elves themselves. However, as the story would also note, that this blade had a greater history to it, though the elves themselves never knew of it. The blade itself communicating what it could in Abyssal that the elves used to be able to understand at one point. But as you remember looking over the runes, your mother kind of pointed out that the story of the sword itself and its written origin is lost, as the runes were all written in Abyssal that your people no longer speak.
Mm-hmm. I just look at the sword and just thoughtful. Be like, it's a legendary blade.
As you think this, you hear suddenly in your head, "Yes, and I would like your people to never come near me again for what they did to me."
Did you not like our use of you?
One of you used me as a fucking toe pick. I was not designed to cut off toes of a flipping dragon just to prove a point. I am a grand and glorious weapon that slay demons, sloths, and hags alike with ease. Beast folk of great power that make you cower in your boots, you filthy mongrel.
As much as the wielder as is the sword tells the story.
You feel a slight pang of pain in the back of your head, but feel no damage roll as you say that. Think that.
Well, if that's truly all it wants, looking to James, then I don't see an issue. For how long will it stay here? For what?
Until it finds a wielder who is able to wield it.
Okay.
As James mentions this, Roland kind of accepting it. The four of you still in the room, and Stan kind of stands up, dusting himself off slightly, still staying close to the exit as he kind of gets himself up. Stan kind of looks over at James and goes, "Would that be all, Commander James?"
Yes, and I'll ask that you keep quiet about as I look towards the blade of the sword of Moors, not the blade of Moors, the sword of Moors.
You're gonna make that mistake multiple times, aren't you?
Oh my goodness.
And kind of nods at that and goes, "I know nothing of where that weapon comes from, dear James. I will go and gather up the materials down below to sell," and kind of looks at you again and goes,
those items weren't to be sold, they were to be delivered to the Cruz families. The one going with you, he should be hanging around. He has the night hag blood.
He nods at that and goes, "Understood," as he kind of slowly opens the door, keeping his back still facing away from you, and then kind of closes the door slowly behind him as he leaves.
I think I just terrified that man.
Cinder, are you alright? No adverse side effects of touching the sword? You were kind of like a tabaxi there for a moment.
Cinder looks down at
Rashasa.
her slightly icy claws that are still kind of deforming, going back to her normal fingers.
I was right. The sword did not like having cold tits.
And Cinder kind of adjusts herself slightly in her armor.
So we need to grab that dagger and stay out about the town for the day?
Yeah, if you're all ready.
Yeah. We'll use this as a chance to make a good name, so keep an eye out for things that we can do to assist and make ourselves helpful and ingratiated to the people.
Yes, I will say I'm very ever so minorly diminished in my healthiness, but I will be fine.
Roll me a little bit
I've
more
lost
pale.
9 HP.
Yep. As the three of you begin to kind of walk out, heading out towards the lift and kind of taking it down as the rough bloods lower you lot down into town. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be back shortly as the those who need to run to the restroom or grab water have a second. Thank you all. We'll be back. All right, as we return back from our quick 5-minute break, the party finds themselves kind of standing still in the captain's quarters as they begin to get themselves ready as we wind back a little bit. As Rollman said he was going... You're going to wear Zell's cloak?
Yeah. Looking at them, I'd be like, this might be a better cloak than the other ones, since that one's not being effective.
This feels like such a bad idea.
It's such a bad idea, but I'm doing it anyway.
This feels like a not safe idea, Rollman, honestly.
I mean, it's up to you.
Adventure!
It is a +5 item.
Adventure!
Oh God, +5. That means it's horrible.
I didn't know that.
Yep,
Adventure!
I have it listed up here if you want to go look at the list. It is actually outright, yeah.
Well, I don't know that. We didn't identify it.
Well, no, I'm saying this is the list of the stuff that you guys have for your information.
One full plate,
this is the
caster
information
medium
we
plus
could
5.
gotten.
Oh, I thought it was a cloak.
No, it looks like a cloak. That's the idea of it. It's supposed to be designed, but it's called caster plate. So
Never
it's
mind.
supposed to be work like a lighter armor, so that way it can be worn by a caster.
Never mind. I'm not wearing it.
Okay. As Roman kind of takes a look at the armor, picks it up, realizes it's actually full armor as he kind of like tests it, seeing the pauldrons are actually fully in there. There's a plate chest on there, and looking at his own armor as he sets it back down, realizing it's not worth it. Don't tell me you only killed Zell's because you wanted his cloak.
No.
Okay.
No. We didn't kill him. He killed himself.
That's true. That's true.
I wanted his cloak. However, that's besides the point.
As you kind of lock up the captain's quarters, leaving the armor and the other things kind of set in the center of the room, kind of as you do, lowering the curtains to make it so no one can kind of see in. As James locks it, walking off, he puts the key back into his chest piece. As you lot begin to head over towards the lift and find yourselves lowered. Yep.
I grabbed the dagger before we go.
Oh yes, of course. Grabbing the dagger from down below inside your quarters.
Oh,
where you
and I'll
had
read
it.
the letter that Drift left.
Yes. Do you want me to read it out loud?
No.
Okay.
This is for me.
Yes. Yes.
I'll share it if I want to.
I will send that to you in a bit, Roman. But as you look it
It's not that
over,
serious.
no, as you look it over, you are kind of reading it. Give me a decipher script to see if there's anything hidden within it.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is a very Roman thing that he would do.
You know, I have a spell to see through other people's eyes. I could.
You hate to
I would resist.
You can't.
There is a hidden message in there, Roman, as you read.
okay.
The letter basically reads, "Thank you for a fantastic night of great sex and fun party and enjoyment. I appreciate you being there at my bedside. The well-endowedness definitely kept me going and has improved my mood. Most princesses aren't nearly as lucky as I find myself, but with the current situation, I find myself needing to separate from you as I am concerned about my child and wish to find him. I hope you understand if I go dark for the time being and I'm unavailable for James or the Ironheart Merchant Company. Love, Drift. P.S. There's a ring, your ring is still left on the bed as you had asked me."
Okay.
And as you read the list down, kind of looking through it, you decipher what this actually reads. And you catch the hidden letters in between that says, "I am on my way to find Mineral. I have a lead and will contact you as soon as I know the ring will be our point of interest."
Okay.
as you kind of look it over, picking up the golden band, looking inside as it says, all it reads is, here, sorry, I'm pulling up my list here. As it reads, in loving memory of Rolliman and our first night.
Damn. All right.
As you kind of putting the ring on, you begin to hear what sounds like light panting as suddenly Drift's voice can be kind of heard in the back of your head. As you hear her say, "No, you guaranteed me passage for 20 gold, not 50, and we will keep to that deal, or I'll have Pierre release his blade."
Oh my god.
As you hear another voice that you can't really make out what they're saying, but you can catch the bit of panicness as suddenly it kind of goes quiet once more as you head upstairs, meeting up with James and Syndra.
All right, I got the dagger ready to go.
Roland kind of chucks it up in the air, catching it in one hand by the blade as he follows you lot. As the three of you, though, head down, heading through the courtyard and into the main city, where are you headed?
It's not much more defensive, right? Because we want these thieves to come to us.
We want to see if in 10 hours they come after us.
Okay. Well, defensively, as you start to think about it, Rollman, from a quick, even without a profession mercenary check, your ship is the most defensive place in this kingdom to you. Mm-hmm. You have all your men there, you have all your arms and armaments, and fully have an open field all around you for almost 50 feet in the courtyard.
Fair point, but do we want to risk our men?
They are unleveled.
The men are at risk whether we're here or not, because it depends on what the thieves decide to do.
And as Roland, you can clearly. I was gonna say most of you, the three of you, would already know this without rolling for it outright. Just the fact that the thieves are probably watching you right now, even as you move about.
So we could either take it back now and proceed, or go about town and do good and see what happens. Or return to the ship.
For our shopping trip, can you two go out and come back in a few hours and I'll be ready?
Sure, we can go look for some people to grant some assistance to and whatnot. Get the name out there.
As I start walking back to the ship, I'm gonna trap the fuck out of this ship.
Alright.
You're gonna...
Sidra, what about the item of interest? Where should I put it? On my person?
Keep it on you. After all, our friends are interested in, they want to see it. As I kind of, between the lines, I'm hoping they follow you and let me lay traps where they're not going to see.
Okie dokie. Let's go, James. Let's go hit the town.
Yes, you and I can also go handle that meeting to handle the property damage.
Oh, I don't really. Okay.
Oh man, just suddenly shoulders droop a little bit and just a little slight slackness.
We'll do shopping first.
Great. I'm hoping to maybe find another Sphere of Awakening because I was not able to find that. Maybe someone will be selling my exact one.
You can hope. As I will leaf roll them out.
Yeah. As you lot start heading off, let me just pull up something from my own notes here. Sorry, I was prepared for a different expectation today. I was told we were going to somewhere else. So yeah, it is a bit of a surprise.
Well, we would have, but things kind of changed.
Oh yeah. All right, cool. As the two of you head into town, we're gonna jump to Syndra first. As she begins prepping her spells. So Syndra, as you Rollman and James begin walking down one of the main roads towards where the large market square and that fountain was that you like to usually pass by. As they head in that direction, watching them for a moment, they, after a few moments, seem to be out of earshot as you're able to kind of find yourself alone for a moment, looking about the shadows and looking for any individuals that seem to be kind of lurking. What would you like to do?
First, I'd like to do a listen to see if I hear anyone going to follow them. Because I'm sure they're not all just going to stay on the ship.
Alright.
Plus 17.
Ooh, nice. Yes, as you watch, almost immediately and inconspicuously, as you watch someone that kind of come out of the side of one of the alleyways coming up behind Rollman and James, even without them even noticing for a moment, you see what looks to be a clear, bright red-haired, pale-skinned snowbeard of some sort, carrying what looks to be somewhat of a large axe. He's battle-scarred something fierce, and age-wise, you roughly guessed him to be probably towards the end of his lifespan, about 400 to 450 roughly in age. Spry for it, but he does walk with a bit of a gait and seems to be slowly creeping up behind James and Rollman.
Is he like weapon drawn, like he's about to attack them?
Not, he does not seem to have his blade outright. It is still on his hip as you look him up and or see from behind. However, it is clear that he is like tracking and following them as he kind of dives behind one of the into one of the back alleys as Roland kind of turns, looking about.
If only I had a fellow to smoke with as I go to walk back inside the ship.
As you turn and head back up towards the gates of the castle itself, heading back into the courtyard as you do. Nothing else catches your attention other than a couple servants that seem to kind of eye you and a couple whispers here and there about you being Magrel's lover, but otherwise nothing like you wouldn't expect. As you kind of walk head off. I mean, you guys are staying in their courtyard without any concern, like, and they're treating you like honored guests. I mean, it's not a far-off thought process.
Now, I have a trap making kit and a plus 18 to trap making.
So, what we making?
I can pull up the low CR mechanist.
Yep, there's a lot of them.
There's quite a few. It's just what can I actually build on a ship? Because some like pitfalls, I don't think are gonna work out.
There you go. Easiest list to kind of go off of for all their stuff.
Yeah, that's the one I'm on. Let's see. We can do some razor wires around. I actually have some sides from an earlier loot thing to make a scything blade trap. Just an assorted of the CR1 to 2s.
Okay.
That actually work on a ship.
Give me a trap making roll. Let's see what you can do. All right, 26. Okay, as you kind of begin to work on a few of the level 1 traps, kind of setting them up the best you can, getting the razor wire across the hallway as you point to the frost giants, kind of clearly making it easy to see or noticeable for them so they know where not to step. As you kind of set it in some of the stairways that no one really uses, or some of the portions of the stairway that no one uses, such as the down towards the stables. Putting some in front of yours, James and Rollman's doors in the barracks, and then putting one in front of the captain's quarters as you kind of work on it. Setting a few what looks to be surprise spear traps for some of the doors that shouldn't be opened by the crew anyways, as you kind of go through some of the storage rooms and such. It takes you about the better half of about an hour of doing this, but you're pretty confident as you get done that this place is booby-trapped as much as you can mechanically.
All right. I'll spend like another hour hanging out, and then I'll go back to the deck, because with what I said earlier, it'll look like I'm just done with whatever I was doing and waiting for them.
Okay. Rollman and James, as we come back to you two, as you start heading down into the market, both of you, James, give me a spot check, and Rollman, give me a search check. Oh, 27, nice, and 19. All right. James, as you kind of spot, the town has been kind of quiet, seemingly, since the hag thing, as people are slowly coming back from the countryside after evacuating. The guards seem to be kind of a bit lighter in patrol, as you notice, but most of them are heavily armed comparatively. Seeing, like, more enchanted magical plate, more, like, shields that are magical. The guards seem to have kind of been given up a slight upgrade amongst the town since the the shrieking hag situation.
As they should have been. If people think my guards aren't going to be walking around with at least +2 gear.
Yeah.
In my kingdom, in my area.
As you kind of watch, looking about, though, nothing else catches your attention as you're kind of passing by a few trinkets and such. Most of the shops that are opening up are a lot of like the scam merchants who came back in a hurry because they saw profit over life basically for themselves. And as you kind of look at a few of their doodads here and there, you know if it's worth the coin that they make it with. As you kind of scoff and move on. Ullaman, as you kind of look about, keeping your head on a swivel, expecting kind of danger amongst, you do notice that you're being followed by someone. Figure that clearly seems to be kind of walking after you lot. A pretty heavy axe on his hip, and what looks to be a bit of half plate on his chest. His red beard kind of glimmering a bit in the light as you kind of look back, catching a quick sight of him before he dives into the alleyway. You see the bummed eye clearly, even from here, with how close he is, about 50 or 40 feet back, as you see his one eye clouded over and seemingly glimmering a little bit with what looks to be a bluish light around it. The figure looks to be almost kind of like a haggard veteran of some sort of war, as you kind of notice him, and he seems to be quietly following you as his steps do go almost unnoticed. It's the fact that you kind of spotted him out of the corner of your eye.
Our first contender, potentially.
As Roland kind of says this quietly under his breath, just loud enough for James to hear and no one else.
Oh, great. Do you want... Well, I won't cast yet, but I'm at the ready.
We should not be the aggressors if it might look bad. Just be ready.
Always this is James keeps looking around.
Mm-hmm. As you two come up to what looks to be a beautiful little shop that has kind of opened itself up, the inside building kind of closed off and boarded up, but what looks to be a stand kind of set up in front called the Mined and Dined. You kind of, as you walk over, there's a couple of magic items kind of displayed on the shelf, as well as what looks to be a heavy booklet that's kind of flipped open with a bunch of other items listed for sale. As you look over at the gal, seeing her, she roughly stands about 4'5" with about pretty short, kind of tomboyish hair. Her gray eyes seem to kind of give away her clan as you recognize immediately the sign James of a gray rat looking her up and down.
Greetings.
She looks at you and smiles and says, Gedda of Clan Grey Rat.
Greetings, Geta. You can call me James.
Oh, I know about you. My distant cousin did business with your friend, what was his name? Nar? No. No.
Alar?
Alar, that's what his name was. Yes, we got great writings back from you, from them saying he was a fantastic customer to have.
Yes, sadly he passed on, but he was a very great man.
She kind of gives a slight bow and goes, my condolences.
I'm looking at the catalog. Anything good?
As you flip through it, there's a lot of magical items in here, Rollman.
Oh, yeah.
As you're flipping them, the pages, this book isn't thick, at all by any means. It's maybe about 200 pages. You give it a quick glimpse. As you, flip to the back, there are more pages. This thing's magically enchanted. You start flipping through. You see items from hundreds of millions of gold pieces listed of staffs and rods of resurrection to the simplest, smallest rings of what looks to be spell storing for cantrips that are sold for a couple 100,000. There's a large variety in here that she sells.
Is there a Sphere of Awakening?
Let me double check, because I do have her catalog in here. Give me a second.
We'll make happy small talk.
Yeah. Give me a diplomacy, James. Or diplomacy check, James.
Right, now put your foot in your mouth.
Right.
Well, she seems friendly. I have to know though, is she hostile towards me?
No.
I will activate this.
Did I ever download this book? I think I did. Give me a second.
21.
21. Fantastic. One moment. Because I do have a sphere here, but funny enough, I don't have it as awakening, so I've got to check something for my notes. Compendium. There it is. Because last time you guys looked up a magic item, or had to go through the magic items, I got tired of pulling this book from the website online and just pulled the thing. Oh yeah, let me find it. Severe. Is this what I'm thinking? I think you sent me a screenshot, which would have probably been faster, but... yes, this is the sphere. Okay, because it's listed as... okay, it's the same description. She has a listed price of about, let me look, 75,000 gold pieces.
James. Can you spot me 23k?
Roland kind of stops on a page and lightly taps it.
I can.
Okay. If you do that, I will put up front 52,000 and purchase the orb.
I'll put the 23 down.
As you kind of put the
In a small sack.
kind of pulling the bag forward and setting it down as you do, shoving it forward. Roman kind of putting the other coin. Geta kind of looks at this and smiles and goes, and she kind of takes the two bags and shoves them into the book, and you see as she does, a sphere comes out of the page almost perfectly, and she kind of holds it out and hands it to Roman and goes, "Thank you for your business.
Of course.
If there's
the orb.
anything else or more unique that you might be looking to get, I do offer more difficult services."
Well, we might have some items to sell off to you guys at a certain point. We have to catalog a few things before then.
Orb acquired. As she smiles at that and kind of nods and goes, "Bring me any business you'd like, young James. I would appreciate any positioning I can get amongst the Grey Rats."
Always happy to help out, and I believe we'll be able to do good business.
Geta smiles at that and nods and goes, "I'll put a good word in with my cousin as well for you when he arrives."
Yes, I'll have to be leaving here shortly to go handle some family business before coming back to deal with the clan meeting.
She smiles at that and nods and goes, since you're such good customers," and she kind of flips the book through the pages and goes, looking at Roman, kind of giving a very kind smile as she does so, kind of seeing Roman looking at his orb as he smiles happily, having it back.
It's back.
She goes,
The orb.
"You might want to," as she flips the pages again, continuing like pointing out random magic items that have nothing to do with what she's talking about, and goes, "You might wish to speak with one of our connections. The Black Rose Thieves Guild has gained an interest in you, and their leader is somewhat of a businessman. He might be willing to work with you with the right connections. I can introduce you if you'd like, but if you'd rather not, I'm happy to let you deal with his executioner that's following you."
Well, we do have
thanks
some
for the heads up.
theirs that we should
She smiles.
return.
She nods at that and kind of as she looks between the two of you and goes, "It's your choice, but good business is better than being killed."
Roman, you'll hear quiet telepathy
Okay.
from James as I have to mark something down.
I assume so.
Suddenly, you hear a cat talking in your head, Roman,
my God,
out of nowhere,
no.
and as you look over, you realize that
It's
cat's an evil
focusing
demon.
it, so I had to add that in. Goddamn. And you'll hear James go, "We should go set the meeting for a few hours later and go grab Syndra and head back. Best
Thank you.
chance to do what we need to do."
I just nod. I don't say anything.
Roman puts his orb away.
I put the orb away.
Have some grains fill one of the hourglasses. God damn it.
As you see James's eyes kind of glimmer a little bit, I believe golden, because I think this is the divine ability.
This is a holy ability.
Yeah, you see a bit of gold kind of glimmer coming from James's eye for a moment as he uses the spell. You see Geta's kind of puzzled look, but she seems, as what you'd expect of a merchant, just to kind of leave it be as she realizes it's not affecting her. But as you hear James's voice in your head as he says this,
Geta, we'll take a meeting with him in a couple of hours, if possible. We do need to grab one other person.
She nods and goes, "Of course, feel free to meet me back here if you'd like to speak with him. I can get you in contact with one of my runners and get you moving through that. Until then," she snaps her fingers, and as she does, you see as like four different snowbeards that you hadn't even spotted begin to come out from the sides and begin to kind of putting their heads down, putting their blades away as they start walking off back into the shadows and disappearing. And she goes, "That should buy you at least another few hours."
I didn't see those.
Thank you.
Geta nods at that as Roman mentions that.
As I will lay down... You know what? I won't actually lay down anything yet. I can give her an item special for her later.
As Geta kind of nods at that as Roman mentions this and goes, "It pays to be connected when you are a merchant who sells high-end items. Thieves tend to like to pocket and steal quite often, as you can imagine, so I've made a few friends." And she gives a polite smile.
Okay.
Thank you, though, for
As
your
much as-
business. As you two kind of turn and start walking away.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you heading, James? Because I assume you're going to be kind of guiding Roland somewhere.
We need to. How long has it been since we left the ship, roughly?
About roughly 10, 20 minutes.
We have 2 hours to burn. Find a way to be helpful, Roland. We need to find things that'll help us out. We got your orb back. Now help me spread good name.
Okay.
So James, are you saying this in his head, James, or are you saying this out loud?
As focusing the telepathy again after I stopped before won't add more grains at this point, will it?
No, correct. It's a once a day thing. So you can connect with one person like each day if you want to use it.
So I'll be staying connected to him for a while. Okay.
Correct. Unless someone like deactivates the spell somehow.
Then I will tell him that yes, in his head.
Okay.
We need to spread good name because I know we've been working on that because we did the earlier discussion with it about it too. So.
Well, we can go assist with like cleaning up the mess.
Yeah, and I can easily deal with the possible need for the coin.
Yeah, how about you go deal with the people that own the buildings, and then I'll deal with the actual cleaning it up part. How about that?
Let's see if we can get them to meet us there.
As the two of you start kind of just walking in silence as you continue conversing in your heads.
Well,
We're heading
tell them to
towards
speak to him?
most likely
Yeah.
either the noble district or the guard captain that would be able to pull them to us.
That's true. Where would you like to go, James? So what's the plan?
Let's check the noble district first. If they're not there overseeing it, then they really aren't that worried, which means we'll have to go see the guard captain.
Okay. As you kind of turn, as Roman kind of realizing he's been responding in his head this entire time, as he kind of has a moment of clarity, as he's like, "Oh, okay." You know, as the two of you head into further towards the lesser noble district, as it was, and where the merchants and lower nobles kind of reside. Heading down that street as the two of you do, it's about another 20-minute walk, kind of almost to there, surprisingly. It's not, the city being as large as it is, I mean, it's going to take you a minute as you walk about, seeing a few cats and dogs kind of running about here and there, some children at play, a few locals that have kind of moved back in, some guards kind of passing you by. As the two of you finally make it through towards the lesser noble district, you see what looks to be almost a small wall beginning to be constructed on the outer edges and a gateway at one of the street entrances as the outline of bricks are beginning to be laid by a few stonemasons as you pass by them. Kind of heading up towards the old manor that is now a slight crater in the ground. As you kind of head up there, you do see what look to be clear guards from the city watch itself standing kind of around it at attention. And you do spot almost immediately guard captain Gelm sitting in a chair in the shade, holding what looks to be a fruity drink of some sort as he watches a few of his men.
Mojito.
Yeah, he watches a few of his men kind of moving some of the rubble around and kind of stacking it up in the street.
Well, walking over to him, since I don't see the nobles here that own the houses.
Nope. As you look about, there don't seem to be any nobles walking about, any merchants walking about this. It seems to be almost all guards and a few commoners that you'd assume to be servants, probably of some of the households. Gelm kind of looks up at you as you walk over and smiles, as lifts the little umbrella thing back a little bit to get a better look at you and Rolliman, and as he looks up and goes, "Oh, if it isn't the young noble James, how you doing?"
I'm fine. I was wondering if I'd be able to meet with the owners of the properties that were damaged to deal with this quickly.
Well, I've got good news and bad news for you.
Start with the bad news. I've had plenty of it today, and the good news might wash away the bitter taste.
Well, one of the nobles has decided to bring your case in front of Magril and is planning to take you for a lot more coin than the damages are worth.
Can you provide me a statement of what the damages are worth?
Roughly about 100,000 coin is what he stated in the report, but I mean, according to the numbers I saw, it wouldn't probably value more than maybe 20,000 gold pieces at best. Though, there was an item that was stolen on there that I think is what he's trying to accumulate for. Not due to your damages, it seems to have been a ton prior to you when the initial attack began. My guess is he's probably trying to sink something out. But in good news, the other noble that owned the house, as he points to the one that's half or missing half of its side, it's extremely destroyed. He goes, is dead, as he unfortunately found himself killed by a few. Well, for what we believe to be the Black Rose thieves themselves, after we did some investigating, and the noble owed a lot of coin. That house had a lot of illegal valuables within it that got destroyed and looted during your attack, it seems.
Oh, so is that property then for sale as well?
Well, it's under Magdal Stronghelm's discretion, but it should go back up to sale once the paperwork is cleared. And there's no family found of the noble.
Alright, that'll be good to know. Mostly because the half-built house is still worth more than as I look at the crater.
Gil nods at that as he looks at you up and down. As you're kind of having this conversation, Roland, as you walk over to the destroyed building, kind of passing by the guards, you don't even stop you as you walk through them, looking about the charred remains and destroyed building. What would you like to do?
I was going to help them.
Okay.
With clearing up the stuff.
Okay. Yeah, as you start kind of grabbing some of the stones and kind of pulling them off, give me a diplomacy check, we'll call it, to see how well you get along with the workers and such.
Gotcha.
See if Roland becomes a hero of the common man.
The natural charisma, come on.
Yes, I should have been here shirtless.
It's true. As Roland kind of contemplates for a moment if he should take his shirt off as he goes to grab one of the stones and lifts it.
I'm not like super familiar with Dwarven law, so.
No, understandable.
15.
15. Yeah, as you kind of strike up a conversation with a few of the, what you find out are lowborn snowbeards, some commoners and such who just seem to be kind of working just to make a couple of coin, hearing that they're getting paid about a silver piece per day for the work as they go about what they're doing. And as you kind of start to help, they seem to kind of get along with you quite well. Many of them kind of laughing and joking with you. One of them even offering you some of his food from his lunch as he kind of gets or takes a break as he sees you kind of lifting one of the larger pieces of rubble.
I mean, I'll take it, man.
You see taking some of it. You see as he takes a bite as well of his own, as you two kind of enjoy for a moment. One of the others kind of bringing over a couple of cold ales and setting them down in front of you guys as they begin to drink and take a break. The somewhat of the cold rain kind of having dissipated from the eerie morning, now to be replaced with a bit more of a warm and humid late morning as you go on about this. But as James, you look over, you can see Roland is already making friends with the crew as they continue to kind of pull the debris out and set it aside.
That's fine. James is thinking, because, alright, is there a guard barracks here in the lower noble district?
Gellin looks up at you and goes, "There's not a guard's barracks anywhere outside the castle, in my understanding, unless suddenly Magdal snuck one in on me." As he gives a kind of a light chuckle.
Might be a good idea to put one over here, then.
Oh, if the nobles would love that. You ain't wrong on that, but unfortunately, that costs money, resources, and land, which we don't technically currently have any of at this time.
No, but technically by reward of the quest, as I look to the crater, I do.
And he kind of nods at that and goes, "If you want to make a donation to the guards, I won't say no."
I'm willing to sign off on that main section, on the section of land there that I was given. Let you guys build a guard tower. I'll assist in funding.
You want
Guard
to
barracks.
donate your land to us to build a barracks on top of.
Consider it helping the city.
I'll consider whatever you want. I'm just trying to figure out what you gain out of this. This guy kind of gives you a raised eyebrow.
Well, I'm hoping to do away with some terrible rumors in the city for one, but that's beside the point.
Oh, the ones about you sleeping with the sheep that Magdal claimed. Yeah, I heard about those in the tavern last night.
I hadn't heard that one. Huh.
A couple of drunken giants were speaking about it. I assume it meant nothing, but they said someone along the name of James had tried to sleep with a sheep that Magdal had claimed, which I find funny as Magdal's allergic to lamb.
Yeah, no, I was referring more to the kidnapping rumors of me. Stealing people and killing them.
Oh, yeah. No, I did investigate you for that already. Good news is you cleared for that. I would have hated to have to arrest you.
I'm glad I cleared because I was innocent.
He nods at that and he goes, yeah, innocent enough. You did kill Odger Stronghelm in all fairness.
After he attempted on my life.
Yeah, good luck explaining that to the nobles. He kind of holds up his sigil that's been broken and cracked to show that he is no longer recognized as a noble house and they've lost their status.
From my own knowledge, what could be done to fix that, essentially?
What Gelm's broken clan?
Yeah.
Give me a knowledge history. Or knowledge nobility, I'll take either.
History, 13.
13. So common dwarven law kind of is a strange thing. You can lose your clan for a lot of things. He could have smuggled in drugs to simply just kill the wrong kind of noble. There is 1,001 things that could have caused his clan to break, and he is not from. You see the broken shield. Doesn't seem to be back from any clan specifically that you recognize immediately with that. Getting his nobility back would be the equation of like becoming a Bedapal on the equivalent of Rollman to gain that. Once you've lost your recognition of nobility and trust amongst Snowbeard society, it's really fucking hard to get back, even if you are not the person who caused it.
My condolences for your loss then, but...
Gelm shrugs and goes, Odger didn't much care for me. Max and our family being a branch of his, well, you know, things go sour real quick.
Odger didn't care for me and ended up as it did.
He nods at that and goes, and that's exactly why I didn't decide to bring you in, even though that shrieking hag was your fault. It's also why the reason I put in the paperwork that all the damages were caused by the Black Rose Thieves Guild, not to you lot.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I don't want your gratitude. Kind of looks at you as he interrupts you almost immediately.
Well then, what would you like?
You've done what I needed. Odger's dead. My mother avenged. Our family is dealt with. I can die a peaceful and noble dwarf even if they don't recognize me.
You're one with a noble heart, then. I can recognize that.
He gives a light chuckle at that and goes, no, I'm here for the paycheck. As he takes a sip of his drink. Roll him in. Exactly.
We're all here for the money. It's just how we do it.
He nods and goes, ain't that the truth? As he pushes a chair forward for you to take and pushes a drink forward for you.
James will sit down and join him. Making friends with a guard captain's a good way to spend a couple hours.
Yeah, as you and Gelm kind of shoot the shit, give me a diplomacy check.
Speak into your head, James, at a certain point, you should probably get your hands dirty too a little bit if you want to get good relations with the lower-born people.
As Roland says this, kind of giving you a side glance while he's having a full conversation, eating lunch with the commoners over there.
I will join them after spending a bit of time with him
Gelm
first.
Okay.
It's +9, not +6. Okay, good. Don't want to fuck this up.
Truly.
Because that would have 16.
As you kind of spend some time talking to Gelm, he's quite guarded and seems to kind of keep a lot of his own history to himself. Which, to be fair, most Snowbeards are pretty much the same. That's not really an uncommon...
James isn't going to go spouting off about fucking everything he's been through. No.
Yeah, Gelm overall seems to mostly speak about other people and seems to kind of give you a rundown roughly of the town itself, how things kind of run around the area. Some little tidbits here of good bars and restaurants to hit up, and good merchants to talk to, as well as merchants to avoid, as he kind of points out a few. As the two of you kind of talk for about 30 minutes or so before you finally, finishing your drink, and realizing there's no alcohol in this thing, sadly. As you kind of taste the
mojito.
Yeah, it's a very fruity juice. It's sweet, it tastes delicious, but yeah. As you kind of finish it, kind of getting up, brushing yourself off, and kind of getting to head over to help out with the rest of the commoners as you see Rollman and them kind of getting back to work.
Yeah.
As you spending the next roughly hour or so working with Rollman to kind of get this, making jokes with the common men, as they seem to really almost immediately attract to you, James, as they seem to laugh and make jokes about you constantly. Nothing horrid or horrible, but more on the idea of you being a noble and them being commoners, and seem to be playing at that just as a gag. as they poke fun and seem to laugh and make jokes about each other just as much.
James will laugh about it too because it's funny. He didn't ever expect to be in this position, but it feels nice.
Yeah, as you pick up a boulder, kind of a light chuckle, as none of the jokes are like ill harm, mostly just something to laugh at as you lot pass the time. Next hour goes by as you lot kind of find yourselves looking about, and you see as someone kind of seems to be standing almost in front of you lot. As you look over at where the entrance was, and see what looks to be Syndra, a bit of panic in their eyes and concern. As we cut back quite quickly to Syndra. Syndra, at the end of your 2 hours, assuming you're there, just make sure. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. I saw your scammer call thing earlier, so I was like, wait, did you get called away again? But as you kind of finish up setting the traps and then begin to kind of spend your remaining rest of the hour down there, enjoying yourself, kicking back, kind of making it look like you're busy doing something as you work about the ship, kind of just grabbing things and moving them places just to make it look like if anybody is watching that you're doing something. As you finally kind of head up toward top of the deck, heading down the lift and heading over towards the gate castle, you begin to notice as the guards that normally are standing there seem to be kind of slouched and leaning up against the gate, the guard's gate itself, not seemingly moving as you kind of start walking in that direction.
Oh, so we start now.
Are you saying that out loud?
Oh yeah.
As you say this, looking about for a moment, give me a listen check to see if you hear anything.
Just have a puff of my pipe.
As you take a quick puff, yeah.
Hey, always have the pipe when combat starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's very useful.
It is. It's a guaranteed helpful item.
Let's just do a little bit of this.
35. Nice. As you see suddenly hear some rustling in the bushes around you, kind of clocking a few, there's about 7 or so enemies that seem to be kind of all around this small gate area. As you start to kind of get a track of where they are, you start to recognize the designs on their chests, as many of them not only carrying what looks to be a simple black rose, but on the other side, on the left of their breast, seems to be the banner and marking of the Black Hand.
Well, come on.
Oh, good.
Come on, then. See what you want.
As one is going to throw a dagger at you almost immediately.
Bam.
That's a 26 to hit.
No.
As Cinder, as you bat it away with your staff, seeing the dagger kind of smash into it, and come aiming for your throat as you hit it just in time, watching it fall and collide to the ground. As you look over towards where it seemingly came from, no figure seen there. As you look about.
Okay. Alright. I could kill us all. Is that good by you guys?
As you begin to say that, you see in the distance, or as you almost immediately you feel the ground slightly rumble under your feet as you look over and see the castle beginning to crack and one of the towers collapsing in on itself. A fire seemingly beginning to boom out from the center of the castle.
Not my problem.
Who's in the castle? God damn it.
As you look up at it and just shrug. Looking back, waiting for the thieves to do something else.
We can talk like adults. I'm not even the one you want.
You see as a head comes flying out of one of the bushes, and as you look, Syndra, you recognize the image of James's father. His head, not in a good-looking appearance, as it looks to have been rotted quite a lot, but you can roughly tell it looks to be him mostly by the giant version of his insignia, kind of burned into the top of his forehead.
Now you're giving me gifts?
You hear as an eerie voice kind of begins to speak out, almost all around you as it goes. That's your warning. 8 hours left. As you hear the rustling of the bushes.
For me, 8 hours left for you.
Syndra's kind of giving a creepy grimace, looking about, trying to make it clear she's ready to kill these guys. As the bushes seem to rustle, and you notice seemingly it seems the figures vanished.
Don't know why they blew up part of the castle though. Doesn't really hurt us. Kind of rude.
Castle
just gonna piss Magriel off.
Burning in the background as you look over towards it. The tower that collapsed, seemingly almost blazed in inferno.
I guess I can go make sure some people survive while I wait for James. As I pick up the fucking head, this is mine now.
As you pick up the head, you suddenly look up and you can see see James and Rollman standing, holding what looks to be debris, with a bunch of commoners and guards all around. And as you look about, you're in the merchant district.
Syndra?
As James, you look, and Rollman, you look over at Syndra and see a bit of a confused look as well, James, as almost immediately you recognize your father's head in Syndra's hand.
Syndra, why do you have my father's head?
Huh? Oh, a thief gave it to me. Mm-hmm. By the way, he told me to tell you something. Well, not really, but I think he implied it. 8 hours left.
Well, we'll be meeting with them in a bit then.
Also, he blew up part of the castle.
That sounds like a Magriel problem, not a me problem.
As you look in the distance, James, and see the castle looks normal.
But from here it looks fine.
Yeah, and so did the head before I picked it up and teleported here.
Yeah, how did that happen? That's strange.
Gum kind of eyes you from his chair as he kind of gets up and walks over to Syndra, seeing the head and kind of hearing a bit of the conversation, and goes, young lady Syndra, would you mind explaining why you have a severed head in your hand?
Oh, the black hand just gifts. Just
the black hand, they don't exist in these parts.
Rolled it. Oh, they had the symbol. They rolled it right up to me. It's like a cat.
You see he's kind of put off by your casual and almost relaxed persona almost immediately as he kind of eyes you with a raised eyebrow.
Syndra, stop playing with my father's decapitated head. He was dead once. He's already been killed. Show him at least that respect of not playing with it.
Just holding it.
As you look over at Syndra, who's just kind of holding it by the hair the best that she can to avoid touching the top of the corpse that's wilting away as she looks at it.
Besides, clearly I didn't do it. Thing's half rotted.
Looks you up and down and goes, I don't know James to be a liar, and I don't know him to put liars in charge, so...
Oh. They had another symbol, too. It was kind of intermixed. Black Rose?
That would be the Black Rose Thieves Guild, which are well known in the parts of the Snowbeard lands. They're a branch of commoners that didn't like the nobility. They're a bit of a pain in our ass here, but for the most part, they're leaders. A calm and quiet individual. He's got a thing for random dwarven orgies, though. I will say that.
Oh, no!
As Rollman kind of drops a rock and looks over with a realization.
Hold up.
I don't know if it was him or one of his... They threw a knife at me.
Gil nods at that, seeing Rollman's kind of reaction, and immediately looks over at Rollman and goes, There's something you wish to share, sir?
I may have met this man.
Slowly just move. I'm gonna take a step away from Rollman.
Okay, so how it sounds.
Hold a minute.
Then.
I knew we were more similar than I thought.
Okay, hold on. What?
Did you meet him through an orgy or through crime?
I look at the guard captain.
The guard captain looks over at you.
Neither.
Gil just sighs and goes, I don't care. You go discuss it on your own time, as long as it doesn't interrupt my day.
As I set the debris where we've been setting it and wait for the two to follow me.
So as we're walking away, I'll say, so while I was a dog, crazy thing, I found a couple of thieves, like the thieves that I mentioned that one I killed brutally. So I met them, and they had my bag of money. I decided right then I was gonna kill them because they said I looked ugly. So I followed them into a house. Turns out they fucking got killed by people in an orgy, and they got strapped down to chairs. And there was this head guy that was like, he was pretty strong. So I think that might be who they're talking about.
Okay, from what you recall, do you think we have a chance at him together?
Ugh.
Rollman, as you
Like a similar
recall,
level Not Magrill,
wait, what was that?
if I recall correctly, he's on the same similar level to Augur, right?
Yes. Roughly in strength, at least.
Yeah. Not as strong as Augur.
So that's a no then.
As Roman also recalls, the many weapons hung up on that wall that were not the kind of weapons you'd use for battle, and that kind of makes it a little worse.
Yeah. It's very inefficient weapons, too.
Alright, so the peaceful meeting seems like the way to go, because he seemed interested in us from what you and I heard. So we're going back to meet with the Grey Rats representative and get a meeting.
I just nod.
You see as Cinder kind of looks at the head and seems to smile for a moment as she giggles to herself looking at it.
Cinder,
Are you sure?
put that away, goddammit. Before we make it to the market district, I do not want people staring at you because you're carrying around my father's fucking head.
They're gonna stare at me anyway.
As Cinder points to the horns on her head.
Yes, but carrying a Snowbeard's decapitated, rotting head will make the rumors worse. Please, put it away.
I look at my that already has skulls of varying races on it, and I just go, I don't think it'll change much. I'll put it away, but I don't think it'll change much.
It'll at least make me feel a little better, because then you aren't holding around my father's head in your hands.
I whisper what I typed to the head as I put it away.
I said, in defense of Syndra, that's her uncle, so technically, like, she's just as related as you are.
No, I'm more directly related. That's my father.
You like me better?
Whoa.
Damn. But as Cinder puts it away in her bag of holding, and as you guys kind of set the rubble down, wiping off the dust as you clean yourselves up, kind of letting the Gelm know that you're heading off, the commoners seem to wave you off, smiling, making a few last jokes about Roland and James, but otherwise seem to happily wave you lot off.
Giving a wave back. Hooray, my reputation might be a little saved.
As you lot head back over towards Geta, another 20 or so minutes of walking, and you can feel yourselves being watched almost everywhere as you walk about, but seemingly no one seems to be doing anything. The commoners kind of keeping their eyes and seem to side glance you. When you start to walk close near them, they seem to give you a wide berth almost immediately. You lot kind of continue through the streets, past the fountain, and back towards Geta's shop. You see she's kind of sitting in a chair, kicking back, reading what looks to be a book, as she looks up at you suddenly, coming over to her stand and smiles and goes, I see, James, you have brought a kind of friend. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Geta Greyrat. And she smiles at Syndra.
Syndra, a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. She takes Syndra's hand and kisses it almost on the ring and kind of hands her hand back and smiles. And goes, what can I do for the three of you?
I'm ready to have that meeting if you can still arrange it.
You wish to meet the Black Rose himself? I can do that. I will warn, though, he is currently in a mood. One of his recent events was interrupted by a dog, and he was quite angry about that. So, don't bring that up, and you should be fine.
That would explain the head delivery, then.
Yeah, raises an eyebrow.
They tried to stab me and then threw a head at me.
Ah, yes, I do apologize. I had heard that they were planning to attack you a lot. I couldn't do much, and warning you would have put you at risk. She looks over at James and Rollman and goes, I hope you understand. A merchant's got to make a living here.
I'll put a hand up and just shake my head and just nod.
I'm gonna be
Like,
honest.
I understand.
Good.
I was an inch from causing the castle.
And she kind of smiles at that, almost immediately, glowing a little bit as she does. And she goes, I will have the Black Rose meet with you within a few hours, if you wouldn't mind. I recommend dolling yourself up. He does prefer noble attire when speaking. He likes to be recognized for his position, if I may give some advice.
As James will flex his hand and, using his Ring of Harming, instantly change into his noble merchant's attire.
Yeah, the glowing silks of silver and gray that kind of have the Ironheart Merchant Company colors.
You know, now that I think about it, I don't think I ever changed my outfit back from my fancy outfit from that the ball.
Nope.
You've been like in that outfit.
You just gender swapped it.
Yeah, now it's just feminine instead of masculine. Yeah, alright.
So
I
as you
put on
kind
my suit.
Rollman uses Ring of Arming and switches it out as well almost immediately. She smiles and goes, well, looks like I won't need to take you, it won't take you an hour. Well, head right there. And she smiles and goes, follow me up my door, or through my door, it'll take us to the entrance. And she kind of walks up to her doorway behind her stall and kind of puts up a sign that says we're closed on it, picking up her magical catalog and kind of shoving it in her back pocket as she starts walking forward towards her door where as she turns the knob, you see magic beginning to flow and she activates some sort of high spell that begins to open up. And as you look through the other side, you see what looks to be this massive cliffside face with a huge entrance big enough to fit an ancient dragon easily within it with plenty of room. Two massive dwarves on either side standing upright with huge hammers in their hand, kind of looking as if they're guarding the gateway entrance. And she smiles at you and goes, we'll be going to their headquarters. They left the town a few moments ago, so we'll be meeting them there.
All right.
As she brings you three through, and you see this massive doorway depicting what looks to be a demon bowing to a beautiful black rose depicted as the sun on this door as it begins to open as the three of you kind of stand in front of it. You see as Geta kind of stays down at the bottom of the stairs as she encourages you lot to take a step forward. And as the dwarven statue's eyes begin to glitter red, the doors beginning to open up, you begin to hear a strange voice coming from inside, as well as a deep and horrendous sounding growling. And that's where we're going to end today's session. We thank you all for watching. We hope you've enjoyed, and we will see you all on the next time when the party visits the Black Rose Guild. Take care.